All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is the RP Ginger here, and we got some gentlemen joining us tonight to play a little one-shot by the title of Blood Vaults of Sister Alkava. This is actually a published one-shot adventure that I picked up off of a RPG bundle. It's put out by Kobold Press, so don't by any means think that I am creative in any way, although I will admit that I've only briefly read through it. So it's going to be my interpretation on Sister Alkava and her little vaults, okay? Why don't we go ahead and introduce ourselves? Plug anything you want to plug, and we'll start off with our muscly homie, Mr. Biceps, the man, the myth, the legend. Go ahead and say hi.
What's up? My name is Corey. I have absolutely nothing to plug except for that Goliaths are the true master race in 5th edition, and I don't think they get the praise that they deserve. You know, they're like humans, but bigger and therefore better. And that is all.
And that is why he's playing a Dragonborn. Or wait, are you playing a Dragonborn?
Nah, dude, it's a Goliath dragon sorcerer.
I was going to be so disappointed in you. All right, let's throw it over to my real-life friend, although I do not see him enough, Mr. Dan Denham. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dan, playing Kid Rich, human. Yeah, Chris never comes by. It's kind of sad. He's not a very good friend anymore. I only get to see him now, so I miss him.
Well, no one ever said I was a good friend. Anyways, though, if Dan actually he doesn't want to mention it, but he actually has a YouTube channel itself. It's not RPG related, but this man has went off the grid and said fuck the government, and now lives in a forest where he built his own home. He literally survives every day fighting bears with his hands. Check out the Denim Adventures if you want to know how to survive like a real man, because this man does it over here. Go ahead and say what's up, Harry.
Hey, I sit back and watch Lionel run my channel, Two Guys D&D. He puts in a lot of hard work, so go watch him. I occasionally appear out of nowhere, so watch out for that. Yeah, it's really early in the morning, but like 2 a.m., almost 3 a.m. So let's just go.
Let's just get on with it. I agree. Well, last but not least, we'll say hello, Jason, and then get on with it.
Hello. I am Jason Osorio with the very small YouTube channel Concepts and Characters. It's basically just a place to store games that I've played in. And I will be playing Franco Fontoya, a human warlock hexblade.
Radical. All right, gentlemen, without further ado, this adventure takes place in a small town by the name of Corvolia. It's a fairly tranquil town. Cobblestone roads. They match the colors of the autumn trees, and you see these houses made of red bricks and brown bricks. There's a sun that is beginning to sink over a bluff that watches over this town. As you walk the streets, you smell fresh breads and meat pies. They hit your nose as you walk down these clean cobblestone streets. It's apparent as you walk through that Corvolia is doing rather well for itself for such a small town. But as you head towards the Bleeding Crow Inn and speak to the people who have hired you, you have learned that it was not always this way. Just over 3 years ago, this small town was at one point a dying land on the brink of extinction. It seemingly was cursed overnight, as one morning the farmers woke up and found their crops, once flourishing, now withering away. Their soil, once rich, now turned to dust and void of any nutrients. Their cattle and livestock beginning to become sickly and feral, and families even lost the ability to procreate and grew sick and rampant with diseases. It was a dark time 3 years ago for the town of Corvolia, and many considered leaving. Fortunately, that was not the case. No one needed to leave, for in the town's darkest hour, a traveling pact of priestesses showed up, claiming themselves to be the Sisterhood of the Red Goddess, aka the Red Sisters. They spoke of their god Marina, the goddess, the Red Goddess, the goddess of birth, the goddess of lust and blood. The Red Sisters proclaimed that the town's issues could be solved by a simple worship and tribute of their holy goddess. Not necessarily trustworthy, but desperate, the townsfolk agreed. The sisterhood took over an abandoned temple and dedicated it to Marina. Every year from there on out, they held a festival, the Sanguine Ephesus, it was called, where the sisterhood selected 12 volunteers to donate a small amount of blood to the goddess Marina. This remedied all of Corvolia's issues, and the town began to flourish into the current state that it is now in. This year, however, things have changed. A new priestess was sent to take over the town, a priestess by the name of Sister Alkava. People were immediately denied entry to the temple, and the festival was called many months earlier than it was supposed to be. 12 people were taken as tributes. They did not offer, they did not volunteer like before. Alkava demanded them to be selected, a few young individuals, men and women, and they were taken to the temple and did not return. Under Alkava's guidance, things seem to have changed around the town. People have begun to grow worried about her ruling and her aggressive ways. The town now is looking for help, and you four have walked into the Bleeding Crow Tavern and met up with 3 individuals, 3 elders of the town by the name of Tanner Grimm, Olan Forn, and Lady Beston. These 3 have been recounting the tale that you just heard of Corvolia. And Lady Beston explains this older woman dressed in these wealthy robes. She has a noble air to her, but she is not noble by blood. It is just this honor that she earned by her age, wealth, and respect around the city. And she tells you that our tribute was accepted by Alkava, but none of our donors returned from the blood vaults. We grew even more worried, though, when Sister Alkava demanded a second tribute. This has not been the way, and it never has been the way, and we worry now that drastic measures are needed. If you can save the young men and women that were taken, tell us what happened, what is going on at the blood vaults. I will offer you this. And she pulls up a small coffer of rare gems and plops it on the table. As you look at these gemstones of different colors, deep blues and ruby reds, you guesstimate that they're at least valuing in 2,000 gold pieces, a hefty reward for adventurers such as yourselves. Why don't we go ahead and say what you guys are doing? And if you want to explain what I guess you already said who your characters are, but maybe if you want to say what they look like, what they're doing in this inn. Don't everyone volunteer all at once.
Ladies first.
Thanks. I guess I'll take it. Pink. All right, so Kidrich would be he kind of be leaning up against the pole on the outskirts of the group, intently listening to this lady explain what she was requiring of us to do. He'd be sullen. He wouldn't be saying anything. His fingers would be running over a small bag on his belt. That would look like it would be so tight around. I would actually be able to tell that there were flasks. You wouldn't be able to tell what was in it. It was a dark bag, but running over his large flasks on his belt. His hood would be up. He's a human rogue. So he would just, he would have very, very thin armor on, very dark cloak around him, dark pants. His boots would be ratty, used very well. They'd be quiet, and he would just be slowly listening to the woman explain what was happening. He'd be eyeing his companions. That's about it.
Excellent. And Olan Forn, the old man who owns this tavern, this Bleeding Crow Tavern, he would tell you that Sister Alkava has just been stationed here not too long ago. And when she showed up, all the other priestesses of the Red Sisterhood seemingly vanished. Maybe they have been fired, but we have not seen them since she has come here. Surely you four will be able to figure out what's going on, right? And save our youth?
And at this, Franco will smile, this broad, toothy smile, revealing this one golden tooth in the front of his mouth, and just say, Franco is all about saving the youth. In fact, that is the kind of people that Franco likes to save the most. And then he leans back in his chair. I imagine he's sitting at the table with these three village elders. Franco is human, sort of tanned, weathered skin. His head is shaved. It looks like he shaves it himself because he has some old scabs and nicks on his stubbly skull. Tan skin. He's about 5'10". Just this shaggy, dark brown beard that has these little faint streaks of what looks like old blue dye that hasn't quite washed out yet. Kind of a drooping mustache, green eyes. He's wearing this just absolutely battered suit of scale mail armor and leather breeches. He has some weapons on his person, but nothing that looks like a powerful enough weapon for someone who's traveling alone. He looks like a mercenary, maybe a former mercenary. And what's interesting is as he's sitting there talking, he's eating what appears to be a piece of jerky, though it's probably a little bit of a strange color for what one would expect of dried meat, typical dried meats. And he's chewing it thoughtfully as he looks at the others gathered around the table.
Yes, and Tanner Grimm, another one of the elders, speaks up and says, yeah, and you all better watch out because something's not right with that priestess. I tell you what, since she showed up, she brought some undead creature to watch the temple and make sure no one shows up. I ain't seen anything like it. Lumbering beast, and if you get near, it gets real agitated. Clearly something's not right with this woman. The sooner you get rid of her, the better.
So, Thogon's been fairly silent this entire time, but you can see sort of every mention of blood sacrifices and priestesses. You can just see a look of, sort of disdain and disappointment on his face. He's this older dwarf with a graying beard, sort of specked with strangely moss. He's very unkempt. I guess outsiders would probably see him more like look like a druid, except that he's wearing a heavy chainmail armor. He's sort of just shaking his head furiously before he finally speaks up. You would not be having these problems if you did not stray from the right goddess. Jontia. If you had her faith in her, she would have seen your bountiful harvests. Not this priestess.
We have Lady Beston look to you and say, it was dark times when they showed up, and it's never been like this before. The previous sisterhood, they were good. They just wanted one blood tribute a year, and 12 people were selected, just a small cut on the hand, and then they returned. And everything from there on was fine. We did not go into this agreement because we wanted to, we needed to. Cravolia was dying, and we had no choice. And the sisterhood did help our issues. It's this new priestess that's the issue.
You cannot hold it against them for what they did. They had good reason. We'll simply see if the children are safe. That is what's most important. If they are, then well, all is well, and nothing bad happened, and we'll all just go our merry ways. I just want to make sure they're fine. That's why I'm here. And so he's this tall, lumbering, super nice Goliath, just hairless, like no hair, no beard. His skin is like gray and really like thick. It's almost like hide, except for half of his body is covered in red dragon scales.
Excellent. Orlon comes up to you and he just says, yes, please. They took my son. They took my son, Olaf. I don't know what I'm going to do if he doesn't come back.
Olaf and Orlon. That is very, very confusing. I'm sure people get you too confused all the time.
Yes, and our last name's Forn, so it makes it even more complicated. Olan Forn and Olaf Forn. It's a tongue twister for some, but he's a good kid. And we work hard here at the Bleeding Crow Inn. I don't know what I'll do without him.
At this point,
his mother passed just months ago.
Why are you talking about asking what this creature she brought with her is? What the hell does it look like?
Well, Tanner speaks up. It's ogre-like, but scabbed up and rotted to shit. Fucking reeks too, the thing. I reckon it's some variation of an ogre, some undead blasphemy. No holy goddess, no holy priestess would bring some shit like that here. I tell you that much.
We shouldn't rush to judgment. It's possible that she could have a reasonable explanation. I've met quite a few good necromancers before. They only lift beings up that asked for it in life. So we really should hold off judgment until we get her word on it.
Tanner spits. Bah. So will you help us or not?
Oh, of course. That's why I've come here.
And then with that, obviously, you guys chit-chat a bit more. If you want to ask them any questions before you set out, feel free to do so now. They will tell you basically what you've heard so far, but if there's any other inquiries that you want to know, now would be the time to ask before we set out.
I think Franco would ask if any of them know how many red priestesses are in the blood vaults now. Are they in there all the time? Are they in there in shifts? How does that work, or if they even know that?
Lady Beston would say that when the sisterhood first showed up, there was 5 of them. And then 6 makes Lady Alkava, but the first 5 have not been seen since. Many believe that they've been fired or let go. It was just Sister Alkava and some creature that she came with. It was goblin-like, but had very long arms and stony-like skin. Very unsettling creature.
And how do you contact this lady? How do you get a hold of her?
Well, we don't really. When she showed up, she said that from now on, no one was allowed to enter the blood vaults. She just came down and pronounced that the festival, the Sanguine Effluris, would be held months early. At that point, she went door to door and selected 12 individuals and took them away. It's not how the festivals went before. It was always volunteers, those who wished to. She would go on to list a bunch of people that were taken. One name in particular, though, Mr. Goodfellow, kind of catches your attention. Probably the individual you came back to the city to see. Your sister. Who is that individual? What is her name?
Her name would be Sarah Goodfellow. She would be my sister. We would have been separated for a while. She'd be from a neighboring town that's come to, I think it's called Kosova. Because of the things that have been happening there over the last 3 years and how we've come, she's moved there to flourish. And unfortunately, I've heard tell of her being possibly dispatched, but it's just been confirmed from this woman talking.
Yeah, she lists.
You would see 12. Kidrich eyes flare. He wouldn't mention or say anything.
And I think Franco would kind of pipe up his green eyes darting to you, Kidrich, and just say, "Friend Kidrich, this is amusing, is it not? This Sarah woman, she has the same last name as you, perhaps a relative, maybe." And he smiles again, showing off that golden tooth in the front of his mouth.
Kidrich should smile back to him, and under his breath, he would just, I don't know if anyone would hear, but he would say, "They've won."
Yeah, so she gives a pretty detailed list. Olaf Thorne, Bruff Garin, Taylor Fillmore, Jensen Durnham, Marty Vran, and she just kind of goes on listing 12 individuals, 6 males, 6 females that were taken, all of them rather young, under the age of 25.
I think Franco would ask one more question as he's sort of getting up, sort of his gaunt body rattling a little in the scale mail, and he would just say, "Franco is interested in something. Is there any significance to the number 12 in this religion of blood, this red goddess that you mentioned before? Does the number 12 mean anything?"
Not to us. To be honest, we never really questioned the sisterhood's ways because it obviously was just such an easy thing to do before. A small blood donation and all of our problems were gone. We were eager to just go along with it, thankful for what they did.
Makes sense. Why would you want to fix something that is not broken? And Franco will finish eating that strange jerky he was chewing on before, look at his companion and say, Franco thinks it is high time we go to that temple and make the acquaintance of the strange, long-armed goblin thing they mentioned.
Yes, let us go deal with the abomination. This
All right.
red cult.
With that, the group stands up. Now, in the back room of the Bleeding Crow, you kind of start walking through the alleyways or the alleys of the tables, or in between the tables, and the smells of beer and scented smoke kind of fill your nostrils. Lanterns hung on the intervals along the walls provide illumination as you walk back out now and see that the sun has set over the hill. Darkness has now fallen onto the city of Corvolia. And as you look up, you see this well-traveled path that leads up from the city into the hills to a cliff that is overlooking the village. You see on top of it a looming edifice of stone that resembles a huge mausoleum. And it seems to be watching over the city, almost like this gargoyle-like creature. It's just this big, dark building. The final approach to the Blood Vaults, as you're walking up this switchback trail, you find just kind of dusty cobblestones that cut through the trees and wind directly to the front of these massive stone doors. And there you see it sitting in front of it, holding this great giant morning star, a ogre. But pieces of its flabby stomach have ripped off, exposing the rotten innards. You see part of his face is skulled over as a wound that should have killed this creature, seemingly has not stopped it. It does not look like it is a creature of life, but it is an ogre, and it's patrolling the front stone doors. It lumbers back and forth, following a very tight, like 20-foot or maybe 15-foot path back and forth, not really leaving much of a time for an opening to push through these stone doors that you would assume are going to need some kind of force to push through either way.
Quietly, Kid Rich would look to the group and say, fuck, that thing's ugly. I have no idea how we're going to get around it.
Franco is not thinking we get around this. Franco is thinking we kill this.
We don't need to fight so soon. We could just we could just ask it to let us in. Have we even tried?
Friend Chad, I will say this. Franco will say this with no exaggeration. You are undoubtedly the strangest Goliath Franco has ever met. And Franco has met, and he kind of pauses, at least one other Goliath.
Well, ask it how it's doing. Maybe it'll go get the lady for us.
If the group is going to approach the creature, Franco is actually going to hang back a little bit and summon his packed weapon, depending on what the other folks do.
Chad,
Kid Rich is hoping Chad is the only one heading up to the monster thing.
What was that?
He said he was hoping you're going to approach.
Kid Rich is hoping you're...
First, I use my eyeballs to look out and my better judgment. Do I think this thing will instantly attack me? Or is it possible it might not?
So it's a big fat ogre, right? Not necessarily even in life known as being the most docile of creatures. And you see it's dragging this big, heavy, rusty morning star with a ball that has these giant spikes that would probably not feel that good. But the creature itself doesn't necessarily seem like it's ready to attack at any moment, but it clearly is standing guard or walking, patrolling guard.
Okay, so in that case, I'm going to walk up to it and try and talk to it, and I'm going to ready an action in case I get attacked.
So as you approach, do you say anything, or do you just kind of approach and see what unfolds?
Yeah, I just would walk forward and wave Maybe try and get its attention. Say
Kind of-
hello.
It's big, heavy footsteps. It stands in front of you, and then as you hello, waving like greetings, good ogre sir. It just kind of and flails its morning star in warning.
Kid Rich will
kinda
circle
sinks
around
into the
behind the
ground.
creature, hopefully on.
Yeah, so you're kind of like sneaking behind. All right, give me a stealth check, and the morning star kind of makes this divot in the ground just in front of you. Obviously, getting hit by that thing probably wouldn't feel great, but it could have hit you if it wanted to, and it just kind of gave you a warning shot.
I got 12.
And you're like trying to sneak right behind it up to the doors? Or
No, I'm
like,
just trying to sneak behind it in case Chad needs some help. Maybe I'll be able to take a quick swipe at it, or whatever. Who knows?
So you follow the tree lines, kind of ducking and weaving in between the kind of thick autumn trees. You find a nice pitch of high grass, and you kind of duck between. This creature doesn't necessarily seem to be like the most observant of things in the best of situations, but you are kind of downwind now, and you catch this awful draft of rot and stink that just seems to be, you're just in a bad position of the creature. What do you guys do?
I will cast Friends and then ready in action. So I walk back a little bit, and then I'll speak out to it and say, "Sir, please, we want to see the blood well here and admire the blood vaults. We wish to meet your leader as well. I've heard great things about this religion. Would you please allow us inside?" Do I need to roll a check, or do I auto fail?
You don't auto fail. I'm reading up on Friends right now. I'm trying to see if it's one of those charm spells.
If it's
that have
already hostile to me, then it doesn't work.
Yeah, so basically, as you say that, it doesn't speak to you, obviously. It just picks up its flail and begins to like swing it again.
Friend Chad, Franco thinks you just need to attack this thing.
You're right.
Franco has been known to be right on occasion.
All right, are you gonna blast it with your ready to action? I'll give you the ready to action if you want. I guess you guys, since they're not in combat, can prepare for this however you want.
Yeah, so I'm going to twin enlarge reduce and cast enlarge on myself and reduce on it.
Okay, interesting.
So
I'm going to immediately rush in, ready and attack.
All right, so does Frank
make
a what is it?
God,
Wisdom?
what is it? Let me see here. Constitution saving throw.
The one
Probably
good
not
stat it
gonna
has.
work.
It rolled an 18.
Oh yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I double in size and look like a badass, fucking covered in these dragon scales, and that's my turn.
Do you just like as you cast enlarge, like your muscles start to rip out, and you assume like
She
that
just starts to
bodybuilding
like
position?
flex, just grows as he poses into his enlarging pose.
Beautiful. Does Thilgarn or Franco wish to do anything in this readying of attack assault?
Well, I'm sure, like as he was, trying to chat this ogre up, as you do. Thilgarn was probably just strapping on his shield and just shaking his head. Oh shit. Okay. Oh my, that's a great start. Nat 1.
Nice.
All right. And Franco, were you doing anything? I forgot.
Yeah, no, you're all good. Yeah, so I think Franco would have probably moved a little bit away from Thogarn just since, we probably haven't been traveling for too terribly long together or at all. And he kind of takes a dagger and just like shallowly cuts his left palm. And as he does, he starts to pull what appears to be this red iron longsword out of the cut in his palm, just dripping with blood and little strips of flesh as he produces his packed weapon, which is this red iron longsword with sort of like a silver bone handle. And he will go ahead and roll his initiative, which is not that much better than Thogarn's, which is a whopping 8.
8. Attaboy. What do we got for Goodfellow? You on mute if you are speaking, Dan. And go ahead and tell me, Chad, what you rolled. Oh, 5. And
13 for Goodfellow.
Goodfellow, you are first to act, as seems to be the battle of slow initiative, as you're the only person to roll over 10. What do you do first? As you see that Chad readies himself in a muscly pose and begins to grow, the ogre, this fat creature, begins to shrink down to about smaller than him now, medium in size.
Oh, did the ogre shrink?
Yeah, he shrank the ogre and enlarged himself. Oh wait, no, the ogre saved, right?
Yeah, he passed.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, the ogre stays the same size, but Chad, this muscly Goliath, seems to match him in size now.
Okay. Kid, realizing that Chad was starting to take an offensive stance towards this creature, would immediately burst from the bushes, covering, the distance between him and the troll as very quickly, almost a blur. It would be this wonderful trailing cape in the wind. Kid Rich will use his agility to basically spring up the leg, hip, and back of this creature, hopefully landing somewhere mid shoulders to even lower neck, and plunge his rapier into this wonderful troll.
Go ahead.
I will do a athletics or acrobatics. What do you want, Chris?
Just roll an attack. We can just basically say that as fluff for what you want to do, unless you're like trying to like grapple it.
I hit with an 18.
Yes, the AC of this ogre is 8 for everyone else from here on out. So go ahead and do your damage.
All right. So using the sneak attack that I have, I'm sure I have the advantage on this troll by rushing at him from behind. Is that cool?
Yep, cool with that.
For racing up his body, I plunge my rapier into his shoulder blades for 24 damage.
Beautiful. So you burst out of this tree line, the wind kind of whipping behind you, your cape flapping in the wind behind. The creature sees you coming and tries to turn its flail on you, but you brace yourself off its kneecap, flip up, land on its shoulders, and draw out your dagger and kind of rake it down its back. Now behind the creature, it couldn't even really react by the time you approach it. That puts up next in the line Franco, as you see the fight has broken out, and Goodrich is now sinking down behind the big ogre-like creature. What do you do?
So first, Franco will get just this dented, probably partially rusted metal shield off his back and kind of strap that onto his left arm as he's holding his packed weapon in the other hand rather. And he is going to move forward. Could I get to the ogre within 30 feet?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
Beautiful. All right. So as a bonus action, Franco mutters some words under his breath, and it almost sounds like the cackling of hyenas, strangely enough, just this distant cackling of these feral beasts as he puts his Hexblade's curse on this ogre. Its veins, its undead veins start to pulse with this almost too crimson liquid. And he is going to attack with his longsword, Hunger Without End. Let's see. Ooh, and that's definitely going to hit. That is a 23 to hit.
That will do.
And so that's crappy damage though. Let's see. So it's 4 plus my proficiency, which is 3. So a total of 7 points of magical piercing damage as this red iron longsword kind of carves a line across the side of this ogre's fleshy body. And that will be Franco's turn.
Absolutely. It stumbles backwards now. You see Goodrich kind of weave in between its feet and position himself, keeping the flank. Chad, your muscles kind of bulging now. You see this creature before you. What do you do?
So now that I've gone into my muscle form, awakening the power of the giant within, I attempt to wrestle the Morning Star out of its hands.
All right, that will be, you know what, it'll be a check. You got
it is a critical success plus 4.
Well, you definitely will grab its weapon.
Lit. Is that my full action? I'm pretty sure that would be.
Yeah, that's definitely an action for sure.
Perfect. So he wrestles this Morning Star out of its hands, and then I'm gonna take it and just throw it fucking hella far away.
All right. Yep. You can do that. You just whip it. You see it kind of twirl around the air and then sink into the trees beside, knocking over several branches and whatnot, almost knocking a tree down. And then you ready yourself in front of this creature. Do you have any bonus action or anything else?
No, man, I'm just a sorcerer.
All right. It will then just kind of grunt in anger now as it's being attacked, and it just basically readies itself up like a sumo wrestler and is going to try to just like slam on top of you, Chad. It rolls a 24 to hit, which I'm going to assume does so unless you got some secret bullshit for me, and sinks onto you. It literally just poof, throws all of its weight into you, kind of tackling you down to the ground momentarily. You take 10 damage as it basically pushes you, you fall over, it slams on top of you and then rolls off. You're momentarily crushed into the ground, but you push it off, just kind of deadlifting it or chest pressing it off you, and then pick yourself back up. Thulgarn, you're up next. What do you do?
Muttering a quick prayer under his breath, his holy symbol set into his shield, a head of wheat, inlaid in this amber stone, begins to glow, and he holds his warhammer forward, and it erupts this sort of green light in the shape of vines as they travel at great speed towards this ogre. I'm casting Sacred Flame, sort of reskinning that. So he needs to make a dexterity save. Failed.
Definitely failed. It is not a quick creature.
I did not. 7 radiant damage as these green tendrils sort of rake across its necrotic body.
Absolutely, and as you cut into him, the creature now bloodied. You see as these things cut into him that it just like rips off a piece of its loose, flabby stomach, and it slops down to the ground like a rotted piece of beef. And then you see like guts and innards kind of pouring out, just a sickly color. Anything else on your turn?
I think I'm going to be a mad guy and just shout some form of curse word in Dwarvish and just charge forward. Warhammer raised.
All right. As Thulgarn charges forward, Kid Rich, the entire party now flanks this creature, parts of its body just being cut off, just seemingly hanging on by threads. You are that needle in the thread and cutting off bits and pieces of this creature. It seems to have no chance against you. What do you do?
At this point, Kid Rich dropped to the ground after plunging his rapier into the back of this necrotic beast, dancing between its feet, watching it wrestle with Chad, and then these tendrils, his hands, will seem as another opportunity for Kid Rich. He's gonna use again his agility, these wonderful vines, and just basically bounce off of the vines, run up the creature again as these things are wrapping around it and creating this damage of radiance. I'm gonna swing over, grab the back of the rapier, and as I'm coming in with the curvature of the swing, I'm gonna plunge my short sword into the back of this creature's head, trying to finish it off for a 19 to hit.
All right, that definitely does so.
And then I'm not going to be taking sneak attack damage running up these vines. The troll would have definitely seen me, so I'm only going to hit for 5 damage.
Okay, 5 damage. Definitely pushes it over into its bloody state now. Anything else on your turn? Wait, didn't you do? Did you do?
No, I think that'll just be it. No, I didn't do sneak attack damage on that.
You'd get it. You have allies with you.
All right, then I will take it, and we will damage onto that.
All right, perfect. All right, Franco, what do you got? As you just see Kid Rich basically dancing around like an acrobat, just jumping off of this creature and sinking its blade down again in another impressive flourish.
Franco would chuckle under his breath a little bit and just say out loud, Franco agrees. You really are a good fellow. And then he is going to stab with his long sword at this thing, rolling a 23 to hit for a whopping 13 points of magical piercing damage.
All right, very nice. Bloodied or like very badly injured now. The creature, you actually chop off one of its arms. It just hits the ground and flies there. It just yells out in undead pain, clinging on to whatever undeath it has left. Though it is going to, I guess. So
Corey had to drop for a little bit, but he said he might be back.
Yeah, all right. So Corey had something going on. So I'm just going to skip him for now. We'll say that he's kind of like stuck in the dirt and picking himself up. And that will put the ogre zombie up. And he is going to look over at you, Franco, and try to just wail its one good arm left at you. And it rolls a 16 to hit.
That will not hit. Franco kind of deflects it with this rusty metal shield that he has.
All right. And Thulgarn, you see your opening now as the one-armed creature gives everything it has to try to knock Franco back. He parries the attack and leaves himself completely open for you. What do you do?
I think he's going to do the same again. More green tendrils erupt from his hammer as he begins to sort of still sprinting to catch up, because I'm sure with his little 25 movement speed, not quite there yet. He's just swinging his hammer in the air as he goes forward, and it needs to make another dex save.
All right, it fails.
And that is, I rolled much better that time, 12 radiant damage.
All right, describe what it looks like as he goes down.
So imagine these green glowing tendrils begin to sort of claw their way inside of this this decaying body and just sort of rip it apart. Just tearing chunks off.
Absolutely. And the creature just
gory mess. Yeah.
He kind of like wobbles for a moment, then falls down to one knee, tries to pick himself up with his arm, and then falls down again. And you see these tendrils just inside the creature, ripping him apart piece by piece. He slams into the ground with a large thud. You see it try to pick up its head one more time before a tendril bursts through and just completely explodes this creature. The guardian of the blood vaults has been taken down, and you now see that the path that you're on, the pieces and gore of this creature now dirtying this path. You see the massive set of stone doors in the walls, and you see these gothic flourishes that decorate the walls, a bas relief of the red goddess carved into the door. And as you look at it, it's just kind of striking to anyone who views it. It's both impressive craftsmanship, but a disturbing piece of art as you see this mother, this goddess Marina, just bathing in what looks like a waterfall of blood.
As Kidridge struggles to retrieve his rapier from the back of this beast, he'll look to Thorg and Franco and say, "Wow, I really hope this bitch isn't peaceful now. Maybe they would have been nice if we would have just talked to him, but I guess we're kind of in what happens." He would walk up to the door, gaping and wondering what to do.
Honestly, if these red sisters are as weak as this undead creature, Franco has a sneaking suspicion we will be able to kill them very easily. And he saunters up to the door beside you, Kidrich, with his blade sort of slung over one shoulder, still dripping with this thick, almost, I guess, rotting in a way, blood from the ogre.
So you approach the door, Franco. You see that there's two basically like carved reliefs for handles that you could reach in and just push these massive doors. You presume that it's going to take a decent amount of strength to push open. We would say that our good buddy Chad would probably be easily able to do that, but I don't really know how I want to handle him. I'm just gonna say he's gonna hang back for now.
Can I check?
And, yeah, you want to check the door? Just because yeah, absolutely. Give me an investigation check. And yeah, I don't know if Corey's going to be back or not. So we're just going to put him on the sidelines for now.
All right, quick investigation to see if I can tell anything funky about these doors. And I will do a wonderful nat 1 roll on that. So you just tell me what I did.
Yeah, as far as you can see, just push open the door.
Oh, even okay.
Oh, you said not one. You said not one, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, as far as you investigate the door, it looks like a door to you.
Hey, Franco, this should just push open.
I mean, this door looks very heavy. Perhaps our stout friend from the mountains should be the one to open it, or at least to help us.
Yes, of course. He's going to move forward, sort of placing his warhammer back into his belt, sort of brace himself against the door, sort of using his shield so he doesn't, hurt his shoulder too much, and get sort of ready to push alongside whoever's going to join me.
Yeah, Franco would assist, probably just sticking his sword in the ground.
Shall I? What do you want to make here, Chris?
Go ahead and give me, I guess, athletics at advantage.
Yep, cool. Shall I roll that? Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
You're the stout friend.
There you go. 19.
19. You give it everything you have, and any other door would have opened, you're sure of it. But for some reason, it seems to be locked in place. And you get the sense that these carved, basically like handles that kind of reach up inside the door, there must be some kind of locking mechanism that has the door shut. Basically, where there's like two door handles, which kind of are not necessarily handles, but these carved in smooth divots in the door, and it kind of like carries in about a few inches and then goes upwards into what you can't really tell where it goes up into. You get the sense that you'd have to like push your hands up inside and open it. Just shoving the door doesn't seem to be doing it. It seems to be locked in place.
Yeah.
Noticing that, Kid Rich will shove his hand up on.
All right, so yeah, you gotta turn the knob, idiots, and you reach in. At which point you hear a mechanism release.
Left hand.
What's that?
Left hand.
Left hand, and you hear a mechanism click, but then as you feel a prick in your fingers, blood trickles down this smooth release and kind of waterfalls in, and there's a lot more blood than you expect, and you pull your hand out and it's absolutely just drenched in blood, and you see that the waterfall that now is kind of falling down this curved little relief in the door trickles down, and the wall itself catches it, and you see like blood almost like being sucked through a straw go up into the carvings and then kind of like funnel its way through up into the mouth of Marina. You take
motherfucker. That hurt.
Give me a con save, and you take a total of 2 piercing damage and 11 poison damage, 14 or 13 damage in total.
Con save is 4.
4? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty. I'm just reading this trap now.
How much damage did I take?
So you were going to take 13 damage, but since you failed, you take an additional 11 damage for a total of 24 damage. But the doors are now open to your relief.
Excellent job, Kidrich. You opened the door.
Yeah, fucking thing. And I'll just wrap my hand up with a torn piece of shirt.
All right. Yeah, so you were taken for tribute to open the door. The blood kind of now recessing into the mouth of Marina. You push open the door, and you see that it's basically a small vestibule that leads up into the main portion. And in the main portion of this antechamber, you see tall statues on the right and left. Both of them portray the aspects of the Red Goddess. The statue on the right depicts Marina as the goddess of lust, the goddess of love, childbirth, and that kind of like life, showing an alluring temptress, but she's clearly pregnant beneath what seems like see-through gowns, this massive statue. The statue on the left, however, represents the goddess as something a little more nefarious. She carries a wicked dagger in one hand and a decanter of blood in the other. And you see her firmly in control of these what look like dead people. She's kind of stepping on them, and they're dead, and some of them are suffering, and she's just kind of towering over them, completely controlling that aspect. Across this 40-foot long antechamber. You see stairs that carry up into small archways on the left and right hand side. And then in the center, you see a massive archway that reveals two even larger double doors behind it. In the center of this room, you see a pile of bones just gathered neatly in this rim, this kind of like casing for it. Other than that, as you look around, this room is just in immaculate condition. There's not a speck of dust anywhere.
Oh.
Hey,
So
guys,
just immediately.
can you tell what kind of
spits- Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, he just immediately spits on the floor. There's the sight of this just unholiness. He stares up at this big, horrible statue with the dagger is on the right, with all of these victims or whatever is underneath it. He's going to trudge over slowly towards these bones, and try and see if they are, human or dwarven or some form of humanoid.
Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Yep. Would it? Okay. Let's say investigation or medicine.
Yeah, you can give me another check if you want. I'm just throwing investigation.
Yeah, well,
out
I'm
there.
trying to sort of use my medical knowledge.
Yep,
to
I'm
actually,
good at that. Little
yeah.
medicine then.
It's a 17.
17. So from what you can tell, most of these bones seem humanoid. What also strikes you as a bit odd is they're all like really cleaned up too. Like everything about this room is just so clean that it's almost uncomfortable.
Like the flesh has sort of been boiled off them.
Yeah, they're just like almost like shining. The bones are so clean.
This is unnatural.
Franco is going to be looking at the beautiful pregnant statue of the Red Goddess as you say that, Thogarn, and he just says, Franco doesn't know. It looks pretty natural to me. And then he looks back and he's like, oh, you're talking about the bones. Right. Yes, very unnatural, very spooky.
I'm going to slip down a health potion if that's cool out of my inventory.
Yeah, go for it. Chug
Yeah,
away.
just Kitter's holding his hand would crack open a flask and down it as he looks over to Thorgrin and Chad and, well, I don't know who the fucking I'd hire.
So as you're standing in this room, it's rectangular in shape. You're on the south end. The north end carries up. Basically 10 feet in front of you is the small like 2 staircase that leads up into where the bones are. And then in between or on both sides of the bones are the statues. And then another 30 feet further is 3 more sets of like small staircases towards the north. There's a small chamber on the left, which has an archway kind of escorting you through it, a small chamber on the right of the north, and then in the center is a large chamber, or a large, basically, alcove, which leads to another set of double doors. And on these double doors is another bas-relief carving that you can't really make out from this far away, but that kind of gives you the details of the room, I guess.
Kitterich is going to use his roguish abilities and try to heighten perception, see if he can hear anything, see if he can hear any creaks, any noises, any wind blowing, feel anything, smell anything, possibly,
Perception check.
anything that would anything that'll tip him off to all that crap. What am I looking for? Sorry,
Little perception check.
perception. All right, there's a 16.
16. So eerily as it is, there's not really any sounds from anywhere. It's almost as if this temple is like empty. Like you would figure that if there was
I don't know, guys.
someone there that you'd be greeted here by like one of the sisterhoods, but no, there's not a soul.
I can't sense anything around here, boys. I don't even know where we should start.
Well, Franco thinks it would be smarter to start at the bottom and work our way up. And there is you said there was an arch, like a big arch on the same sort of level as we are. Is that correct, Chris?
So across the room is the big arch and 2 small arches.
Right.
They're not necessarily on the same level of you, but like these staircases are only about 2 to 3 stairs high.
Gotcha.
So roughly the same level.
So Franco will just sort of shrug, kind of wiping his still cut left palm on his breeches and wiping his sword on his breeches, just not really caring too much, and heading towards probably the big arch, just walking as if he owns the place.
Perfect. As you start to walk that way, I'm going to say that you get to just before it, and you can give me a actual intelligence check.
Well, that's not great. Intelligence,
yeah,
is going to be a 9.
9. All right. Yeah, you don't necessarily discern anything in particular with a 9. Any kind of findings. Anybody else that's like following him and wants to also do a investigation check is basically what I'm looking for. Feel free to do so, unless you guys are like kind of hiding behind and seeing what happens for him walking in.
I mean, I have a proficiency in investigation.
Oh, what is your proficiency investigation then? What does it bring it up to?
So it'd be bringing it up to a 12.
12 is enough to see what you needed to see. And that's the center archway that stands about 15 feet high and 10 feet wide. You see carved droplets of blood decorating the arch, appearing almost crimson, as if crimson drops of rain that frame this passageway. And then as it look in, you see it carries on in for about 30 more feet into this double door, but the walls along this hallway are also just carved with these very intricate drawings that from where you're kind of standing below the stairs, you can't really see, but you can see that again, matching the masterful craftsmanship. There is some impressive drawings or carvings on the walls and doors. You get the sense that with your investigation check that this archway leads to what was called the blood transgression, which is where people would go to donate the blood normally.
So Franco would sort of whistle under his breath and just say, "Oh my goodness, Lord of Savagery, this place is very strange." And then he would turn to his companions and just say, "So Franco believes that through this archway here is where we will find the blood transgression, the place where the villagers will come to donate the blood. Perhaps this is where we should start looking for the missing townsfolk."
With that, Kidder should kind of prick up, and he would finger the belt again with the obvious vial in it. And, yeah, I'd like to go in there. Maybe we can leave a little donation, see if anything happens. Maybe we can trap something.
All right, as you guys start to head towards that archway, we'll say Franco is taking the lead for now, and you walk up the 3 sets of stairs. And as you reach the top of it, now just about to enter this archway, you hear the quivering or shaking, hollow, bone-like. As you turn behind you, you see the pool of bones start to shake and quiver and then animate upwards as a leg, a torso, and then the body of a skeleton now gripping a weapon stands there. And then another one pops up beside it, and then another one, and then another one. 4 skeletons animate. We'll get you guys to quickly roll initiative again and see what happens from there. Type it in the chat.
Chad, what the fuck?
Or yell it out. All right. 14. Oh, Chad's back just in time.
Yeah.
As Chad wakes up from his nap to, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'll recap for you in just a second. Roll initiative. This is actually interesting that we catch you here.
20.
20. Nice. So, Chad, what you missed, you basically told the guys, like, hold on, I need to catch a breather. This ogre sat on me. So they went in ahead of you. As you now enter this room, it's this large rectangular room with a couple sets of staircase. You'll find that as you enter the main archway, your party is basically on the opposite side of the archway or on the opposite side of the hall on this like triple stair archway going into some kind of hallway. But in between you is a pile of bones that now has animated 4 skeletons that seem to be not wanting the party to head where they're heading. And then on both sides of the skeletons are 2 large statues of Marina. One that shows her as the loving goddess of childbirth and lust, and then the other on the left-hand side shows her as something a little bit more nefarious as she holds a dagger and a decanter of blood and towers over tortured individuals. So the skeletons are definitely going to be last. Chad, you're the first to enter. This room is 50 feet long. 50 feet separates you from your party. And also in between you, 4 skeletons.
Are they within range to like bum rush and kill me?
They are from you, definitely a movement away.
Great, fantastic. So yeah, Chad would walk in, see them, and go, oh shit, they need some help. As he holds his arms up to flex, and then opens his hand and emits a small point of light. Is it a flame? Yes. As it erupts into a fireball.
Hey. Dex save for the skellies. We're going to go with a fail.
All right. I think
So,
that's...
Go ahead and roll damage, but I can tell you right now that you obliterate all of the 4 skeletons.
6. I'm pretty sure it's 8.
Yeah, it's 86.
All right. 10, 15, 21, 25, plus 4, 5, 6. 31 damage.
Yeah, the skeletons are no more as a boof, big plume of flame just erupts. You feel the heat kind of even from where you guys are standing. And when the fire has gone and the smoke has basically rose up to the ceilings, you see that the 4 skeletons that animated are no longer there. Although, as you look, Chad, you see that the pile that's left, this massive pile of bones, starts to rumble again. As it seems like when it makes it to their turn, some more skeletons might animate. What do you wish to do as the party is about 50 feet away from you? You're muted. Oh, did Corey drop? Are you moving, Corey? Sorry.
God. I guess I'm gonna run along this pile of bones. You know, wait for me.
All right. So yeah, you're basically able to get just outside of the pile of bones then. And they're a little bit behind you. Kid Rich, as for like what you can really do at this point, there's no skeletons left to fight, but you get the sense that more are coming. Do you wish to do anything?
Yeah. How far away are we from the statues?
From the statues, you're roughly 10, 20, 30, 30-ish feet away from each statue.
Yeah, I'm gonna rush the statue on the left, the one with her standing over people who look like they're being tortured or dying.
Yep.
And which will also get me a little bit closer, hopefully, to my good old pal Chad, just in case he needs to fight any of these things. But while I'm there, I'd like to do an investigation check or any form of check on the actual statue to see if there's something that I might needed to have noticed the first time.
Okay, investigation check.
Yes, that's a 17.
17. You notice that there's some weird kind of runic etchings on it. And then as you run across the floor, you realize that there is hundreds, if not thousands, of like little beveled channels that seem to just like run all across the floor and towards the statues. And then basically around the statue seems to be almost like some kind of really fine grate.
But I guess while I was standing there, I'd be muttering to myself about things that I was watching. But then as I got to the beveled channels, I would raise my voice and say, "I think this might have been the sacrifice room. Maybe to sustain these or to satiate these skeletons, we might need to send them an offering."
Franco, did you do anything on your turn?
Actually, Thogarn and Franco rolled the same initiative. I was going to let Thogarn go first, if that's cool with.
Thogarn, do you do anything on your turn?
So it's gonna be an interesting question here. So, how big are these statues?
The statues stand about, let me just see, 20. They stand about 15 feet tall.
Pretty big. Okay. I was just wondering if they were pushable, so I could just shove them on top of the pile of skeletons, but probably not with that sort of size.
It would be a pretty impressive feat of strength.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the Goliath's job. Yeah. I think he's still enlarged, right?
Muscle wizard.
Yeah. Let's get the just. Right. Well, he's just gonna just bellow out. I'll just offer him my hammer, and then he's gonna point at the creepier looking statue because he doesn't like that one.
Yeah, fair.
Jad, see if you can't knock that down right on top of them. Put him out for good.
All right. Do you want to ready a ranged attack?
Yeah, I will ready. I think I might want. I should be in. How close am I? Like 20 feet?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Then I would like to ready my channel divinity, like the turn undead one.
Okay, perfect.
So if they'll get up, then it will go.
Sweet. Franco, Thorgarn readies himself behind you, and you see him start to pray to his god Chante. Kidrich over by the creepier of statues, and Chad basically has run across the room shouting, "Wait for me!" And where you see him stop is basically right in front of the pile of bones, which is now to his back, and you see an arm from the bone pit kind of woof, then another armpit, and then a skeleton starting to pick itself up. Do you do anything?
Yeah, I think Franco is going to sort of point this red iron longsword at. Are the skeletons actually emerging from the pit? Can I attack them? Or
yeah, sure. They're not there yet, but they will be on their turn.
Beautiful. And as he does so, there's sort of this sound like these two throaty snarls coming from the mouth of some great beast, and he's going to send these two blasts of crimson energy towards the skeletons. First one is a natural 20.
Hey.
And the second one is a 10. So I'm assuming the second one does not hit.
Yeah, the second one doesn't seem to have any effect.
And how are we doing crits?
Just double your dice.
Okie doke. All right. So that is a whopping 13 points of force damage to one of the skeletons.
Yeah, so one of the skeletons is basically fully animated itself and draws back its scimitar and goes to rake it across Chad's back, but you just hit him full blast and it disintegrates back into a pile of bones.
You are welcome, friend Chad.
With that being done, even as that one goes down, you see that another one's filling its spot as 4 skeletons animate up, but that triggers Thorgarn's ability.
Yes. So you see him. His almost silent prayer now erupts into a loud, booming voice. Begone, unnatural abominations. Leave this plane, as this glowing symbol on his sword begins on his shield just lights up with this almost blinding orange, like sunset kind of tone light. So these guys need to make wisdom saves.
All right.
And if they fail and they're below half challenge rating, they just get instantly destroyed.
So I'm going to say with the roll that I rolled that they definitely failed.
It's 15 to beat.
Yeah, and you light just emanates from your shield and completely fills the room. You hear the screech and kind of wheezing of the skeletons, one kind of blocking its eyeless sockets, howling in pain, and then just disintegrate. The bone kind of melts away, and then where the bone pile was now is just a clean floor to match the rest of this eerie temple. With that, you completely destroyed whatever incantation, evil, dark ritual had been summoned on this bone pile, for there is no longer a bone pile.
Nicely done, Thorgarn. That was very impressive.
The archway now that you find yourself in, this 20-foot long, or actually it's 30-foot long, 10-foot wide hallway awaits you. Let me get to the thing I need to get to. I lost my notes. Here we go. So that's not it. Is it this one? Yes, here we go. All right, so you walk down this corridor for about a few feet, and you see that there is a mural. And you all notice, I'm going to say with just your passive perceptions, that it seems very freshly painted, even very bright shades of red. And it shows Marina sitting on a pile of bodies, basically on this double door at the end of the hallway. And her arms are completely stretched out wide. She's basically standing like full center. See-through gown kind of shows off body parts. Very lustful image. And you see that the hallway that kind of connects to this door is lines of people basically piling on each other as if like begging and rushing at whatever means necessary to get to Marina and offer her blood. People are cutting themselves. You see people like pulling out eyes, cutting off fingers, just rushing to this god to offer her blood. And this is painted on the walls. The fresh red paint gives it an even more disturbing kind of realness to it, as many of the depictions almost look like it's real blood.
So does this stonework look sort of new, or is it?
Give me a stonework check, investigation, or whatever. I think you could do that at advantage.
Look at me being a dwarf with my double proficiency for stone. I'm gonna need it because I've got a -1 in history. So that I rolled a 12. Sorry, 14. Hold on, maths here.
Math is hard at 3 a.m. in the morning.
I think that would total a 19. That's
nice.
Right.
So the stonework itself does not seem to be new, but the carving or whatever, I guess, yeah. So the carving does seem new, and it also is very freshly painted.
So this priestess put this in. Okay. So we're in front of these big sort of sets of doors, right?
Yep. 10 foot wide and 10 feet high.
All right. He looks to his companions. Shall we knock?
Yes, and Franco kind of jolts a little bit at your voice, Thogarn, and looks over his shoulder. He was almost transfixed by these murals, and he wipes. You see almost what looks like a little spittle at the corner of his mouth as he turns back to you and says, "Yes, we should go. These murals are how you say fucked up."
Yeah, Kidder should just be fondling these two vials in a pouch on his belt, and he'd have a weird smile, almost, or smirk at the mural, and it would take him as well a while to take his eyes transfixed off this mural. And, yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
All right, so who are you guys knocking, pushing open the door? What's the plan?
Behind Thorgrim.
I was just gonna knock with a boot. I'm just gonna kick the door open. Go in the dwarven way.
All right, you kick the door. Something weird happens. Your boot is cut in many pieces, like almost like it went through like a grater or something. Like it's just kind of thinly sliced multiple times. And as you do that, it doesn't move, and you hear the sound of sliding stone sink behind you. And then the sound of more sliding stone as the two murals on each of your sides, your left and your right, begin to grind forward slowly. You see these murals, people rushing, begging to offer their blood to Marina, now inching closer and closer to you, making this 10-foot hallway a 9-foot hallway, and not seeming to slow down.
I must have made a mistake.
Son of a bitch.
I thought dwarves were tougher than that.
We'll keep the same initiative. We'll keep the same initiative as Chad. You're the first to act. What do you do?
Yes, he'd be concerned and kind of look at the door and try to figure out, like, because it looks like a door, right? How did his foot get all chewed up?
Yep. Give me an investigation.
13.
13. As you get closer, you see that these freshly painted blood red depictions are actually hiding hundreds of very sharp razors. The entire wall is just littered with hundreds, if not thousands, of razor sharp blades.
Oh,
and these walls are also the same. You see them now inching closer and closer and get that sickening feeling of claustrophobia. Something horrible is about to happen if you can't figure this out.
fuck, dude. Yeah, so you'd say the walls are covered in spikes. You just can't see them.
Kid Rich, you're next to act.
Kid Rich would look around frustrated. Finally untying this pouch on his belt, and he would take out one of the large vials, and it would have this deep red, thick blood tinge to it, as my vials are actually filled with blood. So I'm going to, it's poisoned blood, but it's blood nonetheless. So I'm going to go to the mural, and if I do an investigation on the mural, because the mural also have spikes or razor blades all over it.
Give me an investigation, and I'll see what you discern. Who would have known that investigation was going to be so useful this session? I feel like that's all I've asked for.
Not a nat 20, but a 20 nonetheless.
So, as you look at this Depural, the thing that catches your attention as you're just looking at these thousands of razor blades coming closer and closer to you is that Mother Marina sitting arms stretched. There's actually 4 decanters hanging off of her arms, and they actually outstretch from the wall as if they would catch something.
I will open my vial and pour it evenly, one vial into all 4 holes.
As you do that, one vial into all 4 basically catches. It does seem to like slow for a second, but continues to go.
I would look to the group and say, I only have one more, and it was meant for other purposes.
All right. Chad, you went from 10 feet to 9. Kid Rich brought it from 9 feet to 8 as this wall is sliding closer and closer. Franco, what do you do? As you see him like dumping what seems like actual blood down the arms of Marina, the walls like momentarily stop, but then start to slide again.
Yeah, I think Franco would sort of his gaze there you go, his gaze darting to and fro as he tries to figure this out. I think he would just, once he sees what Kid Rich is doing, he would just run over to the wall, probably take his left hand again with the gash across the palm and kind of cut his hand against the little razor blades just a little bit and see if he can put some more blood into each of the little catches that Kid Rich did.
Yeah, so what you do is you go up to it, and as you put your hand on it, just gingerly at first, it's shocking how easily thousands of cuts, like thousands of paper cuts, just cut across your hand. And you see that blood drips down into these razors and starts to drip into the one catch, we'll say. And as it does so, you see that the walls start to grind to a bit of a stop, and you notice that the arms of Marina now have these like thinly woven not wires, but they almost look like wires, and blood is starting to pool through them and ring around her arms and head towards her breast, actually. What does Thulgarn do?
Put your blood in the catches.
Yeah, he's just going to look at the closing walls.
You take a... Hold on, I forgot to say. You take a total of 4 damage, piercing damage. Franco.
He's watched his companion place his hand on the wall, the door. Gonna just, you hear him rather too loudly say, "Chantier, forgive me," and he places his hand on the gingerly on the like above the neck sort of decanter, letting the blood trickle down into it.
You take a total of 5 damage, and as you do,
Owie.
the left arm now begins to the same thing. Blood circulates through this funnel and now is heading towards her chest. As you do it, you see that like spurts of blood start to come down the statuette or this carving down Marina's chest. 5 feet now. What do you do, Chad? It's getting very crowded.
Oh, God. I go to one of the other ones, and as a player, I reluctantly know that I have to solve this stupid puzzle like this. But Chad puts his hand into a fist and flexes a little bit as he casts Blade Ward, and then touches the back of his hand to the spikes to get some blood drawn so you can put it in there.
All right. You take 1 damage, you party pooper. As your Blade Ward, it still cuts through you, but you are able to resist it because of Blade Ward. It's at 4 feet now, a point where it is no longer able to basically stand side by side. So, Kid Rich, I'll let you guys decide who's on the left and right. Who's going to start getting pushed on against the wall as Kid Rich is the last person?
Well, I'll make it even better for you if you want.
What do you got?
Okay, so Kid Rich will actually look at Franco and the rest of the team, and he throws his hands up and he says, "Not a fucking chance!" And he starts to back up, but as he backs up, the walls got a little too close, and all of the razors pierce his back, and I'm sure a lot more than just a little bit of blood flows off of him.
Yeah,
so I'll take the first hit from him.
For sure. As you reluctantly don't do it, I rolled terribly on damage, but you got lucky, so you only take 5 damage. But Kid Rich, just it seems to be working, and you now see that there's a lot of blood flowing down the chest of Marina, the goddess of blood. But whatever, Kid Rich backs out and doesn't do the last part. You're now at 3 foot, and everyone since he did that is going to take an additional.
Oh no! I would imagine when I hit the wall, the blood would go into the.
Oh,
the thing, right?
I see. So you get pushed forward. Yeah, it's up to you if you get pushed forward then. Basically,
yeah. I mean, I was planning on.
Yeah. Okay.
I was planning on giving the rest of the blood by obviously trying to back away and hitting the wall and and screwing.
So one other person then is basically on the opposite side of the wall taking the damage. Who do you guys want it to be?
I'll do it. I'll tank it.
Tank it. All right. You take an additional. Oh, I only rolled 1, so you're lucky. 1 more damage, and then as Kid Rich kind of stop being an idiot, someone pulls him forward. Hand falls onto the wall. It cuts him up nice and good. The sinks down. The carving is now just completely drenched in blood, and the walls click and start to reset themselves, and the doors push open. As you guys enter, let me see here. What do we got? I got to get to the right area. So you now enter a domed chamber. It features a concave floor with rivulets carved into the stone. The room itself is completely painted white. And you see hanging around this domed or concave floor 8 metal cylinders about 6 feet high and a pretty wide circumference to them. They hang on chains suspended from the dome ceilings. Space remains between the bottom of the floor and where this cylinder is raised. And you see that there is a curved almost funnel at the bottom of these cylinders. And you would see, in contrast to this completely white room, thin streams of red pooling down into the center of this concave floor, and sitting there in a bright white robe, a priest-like woman is bent over and has her head just dunked into the center of this room, which is now pooling blood. You also see this clock-like animatron moving around from one cylinder to the next and prodding it with its blade arm. And the cylinder swings a bit And as it does so, you see that more blood starts to pool out of it and then be catched by this drainage system and sink into the center of this room, where a figure sits and drinks heartily into the center of it.
So how far away is the figure that's drinking from the pool?
This is a very large room, actually. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet away from you. And the room itself is basically 60 feet by 60 feet.
So Franco, remembering why he was sent to Carvolia in the first place by his patron, the duty that has been bequeathed unto him, he is going to just wordlessly point his blade at the seated figure, and he is going to fire 2 Eldritch Blasts at this woman's back.
Now, to clarify, sorry, she doesn't have her back turned to you, but her head is down. So she's basically facing you guys, but drinking in, basically picking up a bowl and drinking in a cup of blood. Go ahead and fire.
Alrighty. Ooh, that's probably not going to hit. That is a whopping 9 on the first and a 17 on the second.
17 hits.
And that is actually pretty good. That's 10 points of force damage. So the first blast missed. The second one, this crimson ray of energy just slams into the figure.
It slams into the figure, knocking, and it now reveals her back. As you see a pretty beautiful looking woman, just blonde hair tucked back into her priestly hood, all white, but the front of her robe is just completely drenched in blood, and her face is also just dripping blood. As she looks up and kind of whimpers for a moment, she crying at first, but then the crying turns into laughter as she says, "That was rather rude."
So is drinking people's blood. Drinking people's blood is also pretty rude. I'm assuming you are Alkava, is this correct?
She looks at you and says, "I do not like rude people." And her girlish features then turn to fangs and monster-like as she shifts into her vampire spawn form. She says, "No, I am Sister Marriott."
Shit.
And then, yeah, roll initiative.
Hey, that's what I like to see.
All right, dirty 20 on the Franco. 22 on the Chad. Solid, whopping, blazing hot 2 from Thilgrim. And an 18 for Kidrich, who already had an 18. Stop rolling 18, man. It is Sister Marriott who is up first. Sister Marriott. Let me get her name in there. She says, "No, I am not the great mother Alkava. I am one of the sisters who have been spared, for I've seen Alkava's great ways. Unlike my sinful sister over here." And she points at the animatron, which is just this suit of like armor with 2 blades connected for hands, and it has like a great like face, and you see that you hear it like whimpering and crying, and from the grate, blood starts pooling out down its chest, and you see that the armor is rusted from the blood that must have been pooling down from this creature crying for so long. Sister Marriott, you see her standing there one moment, flashes, lightning's quick. You do not expect this young woman to move so quickly. She's upon you, Franco. And as you do, you see that the wound you dealt her is healing itself. Basically, the dented chest is now kind of undoing whatever damage you did, and she goes into a flurry of strikes, trying to claw at you once.
AC is 18.
She grabs onto you, grappling you, and then turns you around quickly and then bites into you. Definitely hitting, and you're going to take a total of 17 damage as she says, "Let me feast on this sinner." Chad, you're now up.
Chad's gonna just go, oh man, and he's gonna flex and kiss his bicep, and then a light shines as he makes contact with his lips, and then he holds his hand forward and shoots a firebolt.
Nice.
For 19 plus a couple things.
Let's go and do it.
So 17 fire damage.
You burn away a portion of her priestly robes, revealing like her stomach area that is now has a couple degree burns on it. She howls in pain as she pushes back Franco. He falls down to his knees momentarily. Anything else? Franco, you're now up as you feel just the stinging hot pain on your neck. You reach and you see that this woman has bitten into you and feasted on your blood.
And I think just because of the coppery odor of blood in this room and the torn flesh, Franco is having a difficult time as it is. So this pain is just making things worse. I'm going to need let me just make sure I'm reading this right. My companions, are they within 10 feet of me?
I would say so.
Balls. That's not good for me. All right. In which case he is going to... Yeah, he's going to, he stands up and taking some of the blood from his neck, he kind of smears it across his tanned face, and he's going to cast Blur on himself. And that is going to be, actually, yeah, he's going to move. He's going to move back about 15 feet, taking the op attack. It's just a disadvantage.
Okay. Oppie for you. Disadvantage, first roll was a 10. Second roll was better, but 10's not going to do it.
No, it will not. So yeah, Franco's body just kind of blurs and shifts, the outline looking fuzzy as he steps 15 feet away.
You step away, and she kind of basically is like hunched over for a moment, swinging her arms back and forth, laughing. And she says, I can tell you like the smell of blood, don't you? You want to feast on me, don't you? And she looks at you with lustful eyes. Kidrich, you're now up.
Kidrich watching the entanglement with Franco would rush in with this weird grin on his face as his hand reaches even farther back underneath his cape and pulls out this shiny silver dagger that only cost $100 to get silvered. So I was really happy you gave us some extra cash.
Hey.
And as he gets to the back of this she devil slashing, he'll embed his dagger as deep as he possibly can into her back, as he has no problems taking shots from behind. Ooh, as I roll an 8 to attack.
You miss. She darts away quickly and starts to laugh, just like a hyena almost.
As a bonus action, I'm going to disengage.
All right. You charge in, you swing, she lashes back, she claws at you momentarily, but you step back, disengaging. Kidrich's turn being over. You see the suit of armor crying, blood dripping out, thick, kind of viscous, going down its rusted armor. It begins to cry louder and louder before erupting into a scream of agony. And Marriott looks over and says, you have made my sister very sad. She has repented for her sins, for not believing in Alkava's way. Show her, sister. Show her you know that you've done wrong. And the sinful sister darts forward. You hear the clanking of armor moving quicker and quicker than you thought. It's upon you, Kidrich, and it's going to swing with one of its bladed arms. It rolls a miss, at which point, as it misses, it screams in agony, as if it has failed its mother once more, and it cannot take this, and it begins to violently move and smash itself, and as it does, bits and parts of the armor starts to fall away, but in doing so, it causes such violent movement that I need Franco and Kidrich to give me a dexterity saving throw. This thing is not throwing like all self-preservation out the window and is just slamming itself around. Parts are flying everywhere.
15.
15 is a save, so you're going to take half damage.
13.
13 is a fail, so you take 8 damage, Franco, and you take half that, 4. As the creature finishes its tantrum, though, it looks around crying, and you see that it's starting to move a bit slower. Thilgrim, you're now up.
It's going to shout angrily, Goddess, forgive my sins. Give me strength to vanquish this demon. And then this green mist begins to sort of form around him in a circle. And out of it climb these sort of dryad-looking beings as he casts spirit guardians around him. So, I don't know if you've seen this spell before, but when they start on their turn and they're inside it, they just need to make a save. Yeah, so these dryadic figures have sort of appeared out of this mist and has probably just start wailing on these.
And that's on the start of their turn, right?
Yeah, on the start of their turn, yeah. If they're inside. So it's a 15-foot radius. Yeah,
so Marriott laughing when these things start to come out and dance around her. You see her skin starting to burn, and she laughter is ripped away from her face. She stares at you in fury. She hisses almost as she speaks. What are you doing? Stop that. I don't like it. It's her turn. Wisdom save. She rolled a 19 plus modifiers. What's the damage, though? She still takes half damage, I believe. You're on mute, Harry.
So 15, so 7 damage.
And what type of damage is that? Radiant damage. Perfect. That is a key point. As the radiant damage kind of dances across her, you see that her flesh is being burned away. And where the wounds that were done to her previously were beginning to heal, this radiant damage completely undoes that, and she loses the ability to regenerate, entering an almost bloodied state. She howls in pain, abandoning all cause now, having to stop you, Thilgrim, from doing this horrible act against her. She's going to take an Oppie attack from Franco, who's still engaged, and he comes charging in, and she swings at you twice.
That's a natural one, so Franco does not hit.
Franco misses, maybe kind of traumatized by the words that she had with him. She darts past, and apologize, Harry, but I rolled a 24 on my first hit and a natural 20 on my second.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
So, you take on the first attack. Is that the crit, actually? I think that's the crit. The crit is 17 damage.
Okie dokie.
And the not crit is 8 damage.
Okay.
You up?
I'm up, yep.
Give me an old con save.
Alrighty then. So I don't think I can pass these. We'll see. So I took 20 damage. Okay, so my DC would be...
the damage is separate, right? So you just basically need to con save twice.
So it's half damage or 10, whichever's highest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10, right? I might be able to pass this then.
You should be able to pass it.
Nope, failed it.
All right. The Spirit Guardians go down as she says, yes, your will is weak. Follow the true God, Marina. And Chad, you're now up. Chad.
All right, so he's up. He's going to take the opportunity to strut backwards a little bit as he holds up his left hand. Says a frost of the giants, and holds it forward, casting a ray of frost.
Okay, go ahead.
18 plus whatever it is.
Gonna do it.
So he chills her out a little bit with 9 damage.
Hey. All right. That does put her in a bloodied state now. Anything else on your turn? Frank.
Nope.
Frank.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He hopes he survives.
All right. Franco, you're not up.
So Franco is going to, since she moved away from him, he's going to move, I guess, 15 feet further away, also trying to avoid getting too close to the sinful sister, and he is going to drink a healing potion.
All right.
So he pulls it from his belt and just chugs it down with a trembling hand, again, assaulted by just the smells of blood and torn flesh and things he's become unfortunately familiar with over the last year or so.
All right. Franco ducks away, putting some distance between Marriott and the sinful sister, Kidrich. What do you do as she is just howling in agony now?
Okay. Kidrich, as this sinful sister rushes at him, he's going to take the opportunity to do a amazingly beautiful flip over her and hopefully landing within range so that I can use my fast hands bonus move to use my thieves tools and try to unlock this carapace that she's wearing, that's creating so much or inflicting so much pain on the sinful sister.
Interesting. Go ahead and give it a try. Sleight of hand.
What the? Okay. So that's a 18 after mods.
18 after mods. I'm going to say that's enough to actually, it's just basically like a kind of simple lock pad. And you just kind of jump on and grab onto it. And with a couple, it doesn't seem like it was necessarily meant to be tampered with. So with an 18, you're easily able to unlock it, and the back plating kind of opens up. And you see that sitting in there is someone that was wearing very similar robes to what Marriott is wearing, but instead of being white, they're dark crimson from head to toe. Whoever is in here is just bleeding an ungodly amount of blood. And you see that inside the armor, there is like spikes and razors. It's basically like, what the hell are those things called that you get trapped in?
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, so basically I'm just going to try to use the rest of my bonus action to make sure that she's completely free of the Iron Maiden suit. And that was a bonus. So I think how far away is the actual chick we need to kill?
Marriott from you.
Mariana, I believe.
Marriott, she is about 20 feet away from you.
All right, so yeah, I'll just I'll stand in a protective stance over the sinful sister and ready in action, ready in attack if she comes after me.
Okay. Having being pulled out of her encasing, the armor just basically stops moving, and you hear that the girl inside is just crying profusely. She's not going to do anything, so that puts Stilgarn up.
Just right, reeling from this just absolutely devastating attack. I'm like right in this bitch's face.
Yes, you are.
Right, let's see.
She looks at you and says that you are a sinner in the eyes of Marina. Let me taste your sinful blood.
You can hear the panic in his voice. Just back, foul beast. And he's gonna raise his warhammer, I think. Just seeing something about sacred flame.
Yes.
I'm just gonna have to sacred flamer. Does more damage than anything else I got.
All right, she failed.
Failed. Okay, so that's another 9 radiant damage.
Nice.
Suck on that.
All right, yeah, she definitely is not enjoying the radiant damage. Anything else on your turn?
I kind of want to move away, but I also don't want to die immediately. Well, it's her turn next, right?
Say again?
It's her turn next, right?
Yes.
Okay, either way, I'll probably die. I'm just going to stand my ground.
All right.
Ready myself.
As you do so, her turn comes up, and she looks and she sees what Kidrich has done. And she yells and says, "Get away from her!" You just give her the finger. Then in that case, she'll can she disengage? I don't think that she has the ability to disengage. So she will take an oppie attack from you and come charging at
You ready for this?
Yep.
I rolled a 15.
Okay, that's a 15 natural or modifiers?
That's a modified 15.
Doesn't matter, it still hits, I just realized.
Okay. Yeah. So that is 5 bludgeoning damage.
All right. Yeah, she's in rough shape, and she screams as she runs away, and she screams that you have no clue what your place is in this. She was trying to earn favor to Alkava. You've stripped that away, and she will come to you, kid, and swing, and 19 to hit, and swing, and a natural 1. So you take a total of 9 damage, actually.
I'm gonna use my uncanny dodge and cut that damage in half.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, and she's just trying to do everything in her power to get to her sister. She calls her. What do you do, Chad?
Yeah, Chad kind of uses his dragon side, and he'll shoot another bolt of fire here. Ooh, this one's 15.
15 hits. 15's your mark.
Ooh, coming up with a clutch 17 damage.
17, nice. All right, that's interesting. As you hit her in the back, she drops down to her knees and begs, "Please, leave her alone." Franco, it is your turn. Marriott now kneels down before a kid. Head completely not even looking at him. She's crying. She's begging. Whimpering. "My sister must repent. You do not understand." What do you do, Franco?
Oh boy. Franco looks at her, and then where is the sinful sister now? The strange armor.
Okay, you did he see that? I think kid jumped behind her, and thieves tooled broke the lock and ripped whatever was inside out, which was someone wearing a similar robes as Marriott, but completely head to toe soaked in blood.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, I think Franco would look at this woman and sort of in frustration, he'd just fire this Eldritch Blast at the ground, kind of punching a hole in the stone. But then he'd look at her and just say, "Everybody has a choice, Sister Marriott, or at least some of us do. And Franco thinks you have made your choice." And then he points the blade at her, and he's going to fire an Eldritch Blast at her for a 16 to hit.
That does so.
And ooh, that is a whopping 9 points of force damage.
All right. Describe what it looks like. As Sister Marriott rears up and basically grabs onto Kid and begins to beg for her to surrender, or beg for him to stop. What does it look like as you finish her off?
So I imagine, just like before, there's like this low throaty snarl, like from a giant hyena, as this bolt erupts from Franco's packed weapon and moves towards this woman. And as she's clutching you, Kit, and sobbing and begging for you to let her surrender, this bolt just slams into the back of her head, and you see her face sort of bulge and distort for a moment with the impact. Fortunately, not splattering you with flesh and brains. As she just collapsed, just the back of her head, this red ruin, and there's just this cackling of hyenas that just seems to echo from everywhere and nowhere throughout the chamber as Franco just stands there breathing heavily, sweat dripping down his scarred face.
Sister Marriott is no more.
Sorry about that. What?
I don't accept surrender anyway.
That is a good policy to have.
Chad, Thilgarn,
We need to keep.
what are you guys doing?
Is the sinful sister alive, dead?
If you go to inspect her, give me a medicine check.
Yeah. Let's see here. That is a 17.
You flip her over, and the skin is completely peeled away. It's just exposed flesh, and blood pools from the eye sockets of this thing. It whimpers and it cries, and it just agonizes in pain. But you get the sense that whatever this is, it's not living.
I just immediately just sacred flame all over that. Just yeah.
It
just left a face on the floor and just looks up like, oh.
Yeah. It radiates away. You relieve it from whatever horrible torment it has been going through. You guys now kind of stand in this room. So like basically the center of the room is concave down into like this pool, which is collecting blood from 8 different cylinders that are kind of like hanging from chains, swinging around. Who has a high passive perception, we'll say? Just tell me who, just yell out a high passive.
I have a 13.
I have a 14.
14's enough to hear that from one of these cylinders is a cry for pain, a cry out, like someone's moaning in pain.
We should destroy this place.
I missed out.
Say again?
What happened?
The cylinders, the 8 cylinders that are hanging and dripping blood, you hear moans of pain coming from them.
How high are they off the ground?
How big are the cylinders? Like, could people be in them?
They are roughly around 6 feet big or tall, sorry, and definitely wide enough to house some people in them.
Can I easily reach up to see one, or do I have to use my utilize my?
They're only hanging like maybe a couple of feet off the ground, so they're almost level with you, but a little bit above. As you go and approach, you see that they're made of complete black metal, thick metal. The center of which has kind of like this carved away black hole, and that's the only like basically indication of anything besides the metal on this thing.
Frantically, Kidrich will do everything he can to find and pick a lock, imagining that hopefully his sister is not in one of these chambers.
So as you look at this cylinder, the only thing that there's like no locks that you can see. So you basically just put it down to like whatever would release this thing again is up another black hole.
At this point, knowing the story of the situation that they're in, Kidrich would unwrap his left hand, squeezing it as hard as he could to let the blood start flowing again, and hopefully praying in his head, let the blood from his hand drop into the hole on the.
So this is more something that you have to reach up into.
Well, fuck off! I'm gonna do it. It's happening. That's what I'm doing.
Reach up and kind of feel your way through.
Cut off his hand.
And there is a mechanism, basically like a pulley system that you can begin to pull.
I'm using my left hand, and I will pull it.
You pull back, and you feel an agonizing, searing pain. Take.
I'm still going for it.
4 damage, first of all, as you realize that this is like a one-side. Like, have you ever seen the movie Saul, where the girl reaches up into the box and as she pulls back, there's like serrated daggers?
Yeah, it's got blades like this, so it cuts in your arm when you pull it down.
The scorpion thing when the guy puts the bracelet.
So you take 4 damage as you feel this pain. You stop, but as you were turning the mechanism and pulling down, you felt like it was going to release.
I'm not stopping.
All right, give me a what is this? Give me a con check.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a 10.
10? Excellent. You take 14 damage.
Can I half that with my uncanny dodge? No, probably not, eh?
No. Are you still
standing? That wouldn't make sense that I would be able to dodge that. So I'm not going to do it.
How are you going to...
No, I'm not standing.
So I'll give you the option then. You can take half damage, but you rip off your arm in doing so.
Done. And if I take half damage and I rip off my arm, it's kind of fucking coincidental, but I will have 1 HP left. So let's do that.
So you pull and you turn and you feel the blades cutting into your arms, and the blades are so sharp that they cut through even your bones. And as you yell out in pain, blood just shoots out from your stub that where your hand should.
I'll yell out. As it's happening, I yell out Sarah's name.
And then the mechanism releases and the cage opens up, and it does open up to what is an Iron Maiden hanging, thousands of spikes, and there is a form sitting in there, a female girl that drops out onto the floor. Not moving. You turn her over.
I'm pretty hurt.
Just riddled with holes and blood, you see Sarah Goodfellow clinging on.
Is she breathing?
Give me a medicine check.
Fuck, medicine. I got a 11.
11. She does not seem to be breathing to you. Give me a con save to see if you can keep consciousness.
I'm a tough motherfucker, man.
Oh yeah, you're fucked, dude.
That's not good. I got a 3 + 1 is a 4.
You fall to the ground from blood loss, unconscious.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm gonna be heading over there while he's falling over.
All right. So
if I can, just quickly cast, just spare the dying quickly as a cantrip on him.
Oh yeah, on who?
I think I'll do it on Kidrich. Yeah.
This is very important, actually. Yeah, you're doing it on Kidrich?
Yeah.
All right.
Franco will actually make his way over to Sarah. He has 2 healing potions. Could he try to administer one to her? Is that possible?
So Sarah has already failed 2 death saving throws.
So let's get that potion in her.
She's making one right now.
Balls.
It basically came down to who Thorgrim. So let's see if she saves. I'll roll it. Oh, she rolled a 5. So stabilized, Kidrich. You see Thorgrim standing over top of you. Your eyes kind of swell back up. You're at 1 HP. We'll say that Franco, you run over and you go to pour the healing potion down Sarah's mouth, but you just realize when you get there that you're too late.
So Franco will actually drink the potion himself.
All right. Kidrich, you come back to consciousness now. You look over and you see that basically lying on the floor with you is Sarah's lifeless face.
I'm gonna crawl over to her slowly, painfully, awkwardly with one arm, as I refuse to let my stump hit the ground out of pain. When I get to her, one single tear will drop from my eye. My right arm will start to reach behind me. I'll draw forth my dagger, the silver one, and I'll plunge it deep into her face to make sure that she doesn't turn into a vampire.
Fair enough. You do so.
And I'm happy.
All right.
That was intense, friend Goodfellow. That was intense.
I'm done here.
You know now that Sister Alkava's tributes obviously have endured horrible, horrible things. Something is very not right at these blood vaults. As you look in the room, you see across this concave floor on the opposite end where Marriott was basically in between another set of double doors.
Friend Thogarn, would you be able to perhaps give us a little healing? Franco is not doing so well, and Franco looks pretty beaten up even with the 2 healing potions that he's gulped down over the last few minutes.
Yes. You'll begin just muttering some prayers. Healing is not my forte, but yeah. And it's actually better to cast Healing Word at first level multiple times than it is to cast it at second level, which is just stupid. But that's all I've got, by the way. I'm just gonna cast a healing word on. I think you're all pretty stuffed, right?
I'm actually fine.
You fine?
Oh, mistake saying that.
All right, I'll give one for each of you two that are dying slowly.
So tell me this, Kid Rich, though, before we carry on.
Yeah.
You gave something to Sarah, a weapon, a very masterfully designed trinket, and told her that it was yours and one day you'd come back for it. This is a +1 weapon. What is it, and what does it look like? As you see that it was the one thing that she still clung to.
It's a small pendant brooch that she wore around her neck on a silver chain. It had the crest of our ancestors on it in a broken house. That was one of the only things that we were able to keep behind. And when you held it in your finger and your Thor thumb, you could press it and circular blades, or it would come out with a circular blade, and this blade could be used to slice the things, or it was so sharp that if you threw it hard enough, it would be able to go through a human body.
Yeah, cool. So you find that, you tank it. You've collected it back, but not how you thought you would. I will get you, I guess since I beat you all up pretty good, I'll let you guys take like a epic variant short rest here. You can spend a couple of hit dice before you carry on.
Thank God. As we're doing this, basically, instead of the scene just of Kidrich resting patiently, you'll see him cauterizing his wound with salts and then matches, or some form of striking utensil.
The ironic thing is, I was gonna say that you could dual wield that weapon, but then I was like, oh wait, no, you can't. Sorry.
How many hit dice can we roll?
Yeah, well, you can roll your own. You can roll at all 5 if you want. I'll just roll a nat one. I'll be kind.
Brutal. I just rolled another nat 1 on one of my hit dice.
Nice.
2 out of 3 nat 1s. Fantastic.
At least they are. It's plus con on each one, I think.
Yeah, +2. I just rolled a third nat 1.
Oh man,
loving it.
Oh boy, keep up the work.
And a 2.
Wow, fully healed, I'm assuming.
I've never rolled so badly before. That's 3 nat 1s like in a row.
All right. Collecting yourselves for maybe 20 minutes. You now know that this woman and what she's doing here, whatever horrific thing it is, needs to be put to a stop. Who's taking the lead?
I think before we get up and start moving towards the doors, Franco would look at the others and just say, his pale green eyes narrowed a little. He will say, Franco is sorry for your loss, Kidrich. But Franco also has a request. We are going to kill this Sister Alkava, yes? Is that? And he looks at everyone. Franco is assuming that we are agreed on this. We are going to kill this woman.
Yes.
Agreed now.
I mean, I agree that she's a problem, but I'm just concerned we might not be able to do it. We should probably go and get help.
Oh, no.
If we go and grab the clerics and paladins of Lathander or anyone else nearby, they'd gladly come and lend their aid.
Friend Chad, you should meet another friend of mine. His name is Jogani, and Jogani rushed in with his weapons at all times. That is how you should be, Chad. You should not be worrying about getting another party of people. That will give Sister Alkava time to build up her defenses. No. We should destroy her now. Franco has a simple request, though. When we kill her, and he pauses for a moment, looking around this room, try to leave something behind. That is all Franco is asking.
I don't understand what that means.
Do not destroy the body. And he smiles again, showing off this golden tooth in his mouth.
All right, you guys head up and push through the last door. This one is not trapped. This one has no important carvings on it, no blades. It is just a stone door, and it pushes open into a massive chamber that is divided into 3 distinct areas. As you push through, you hear the scraping of something being collected as the door opens up into the room, and you see that the entryway in the southern portion of the chamber is absolutely full to the top with skeletal remains, or full, like ankle high, about 30 feet long and 40 feet wide. This first entryway is completely just littered with a pool of skeleton bones, which then carries up this big set of stairs that carries up for about 5 feet into an enormous opening where the room on 4 corners, this, let me see how wide it is. The second part is 40 feet by like 100 feet, and stationed basically north, west, south, and east are 4 cauldrons of bubbling, undulating blood. And then opposite of you, a whole like 120 feet away, is a cross dais that has stairways that carry up, and sitting on top of the cross is a statue of Mother Marina, the goddess of red, kneeling, arms open, sitting completely naked. There is like some fountain of blood that is pouring over her outstretched body, and kneeling before this statue, head bowed in prayer, is a priestess in blood-stained robes, Sister Alkava. She's bent in prayer, and as you open the door, it kind of creaks, and she says, "Crimson Mother, somebody has disturbed my prayers. Don't worry, my mother. They will learn. They will learn soon." Roll initiative. "12 for Thorgrim. 9 for Chad. 13 for Kidrich. And 23 for Franco. Franco, you are the first to act. And as you open this room, nothing happens. Sister Alkava does not leave her prayers. She's 120 feet away from you, if not further. I'll actually count in a minute. But actually, it is basically 2 dashes and a regular movement away.
So Eldritch Blast has a range of 120 feet. So if I move 30 feet forward, would I be within range then?
Yeah.
Or okay, cool.
Definitely.
So yeah, no, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Oh, go ahead.
Yep. All right. So Franco will almost heedlessly, with his shield out in front and his packed weapon over his head, will run forward through these bones, and then he's just going to fire the 2 Eldritch Blasts at Sister Alkava's back. That's not great. That is a 11 to hit. I'm assuming that misses.
That does miss.
And a natural 1.
That also misses.
So yeah, he is like, and he's turned, he's moving a little bit further forward from his companions, but he is like drooling at this point. It's just like he is a mess, and he's so distracted by the thought of what he has to do that he just completely misses with these 2 spells, and that's going to end his turn.
All right. Sister Alkava is up next. And as you fire, and one of your Eldritch Blasts actually hit the dais where Marina's on, and a small chunk blast away. And she then stands up, head still dripping, and it seems like she's crying at first. "I'm sorry, Mother Marina. These people do not understand. They must learn, for they are sinners like the rest. I shall bathe these halls in their blood as tribute to you, Great Mother." And she spins around, at which point, as you're now standing in the pit, you see that the bones of skeletons start to shamble to animation, coming alive, 4 of them. And then for her turn, she is going to look at you and cast Mother Marina, give me strength. Protect me from these sinners. And from one of the blood pools, the vats of blood, literally like a tendril like of blood shoots up about 10 feet high and whirls around and then comes towards her. She's holding up her hands in some kind of like arcanic spell binding move, and the blood smashes into her and completely coats her as she casts Shield of Faith. Next, as I believe that is, let me just double check here before I start cheating. That is a bonus action. She will move forth and she takes out a weapon that she has at her belt, and it is this razor-like whip, but it glows a red, sinister energy. And she takes it and she wheels it up and she cracks it one time, and it shoots across the room 20 feet. And she cracks it again 30 feet. And she looks at you and begins to move and says, "Don't worry, sinner. I will teach you. I will teach you so very much." And that ends her turn as she moves. But then on initiative 15, her turn is up again. As you see one of these blood vaults ripping up energy, another tendril shoots out underneath her feet, and she's picked up by the blood and then dropped off just in front of you 30 feet away. And she will strike with the whip, rolling a... Let me get up to the whip here. Only a 15 to hit, which I believe misses.
Yeah, that will not hit Franco if that's who you're aiming at.
Yep, so that's who she is aiming at. So she's 30 feet away from you. She cracks her whip, which just shoots out with like blood-like energy, coming just short of you. And then she will, at that point, action is done. Bonus action, say, "Mother, show them what happens to the false prophets. Show them the torment." And then she kind of moans in pleasure and says, "Hear their screams. They are for you, Marina." And bursting out of the closest blood vault towards you, towards the left or the western side, a skinless, flesh-exposed zombie crawls out and screams in agonizing pain as this blood drips down this creature's face, and it looks at you and just looks absolutely tormented by whatever horrible existence it has. 13 initiative. Kidrich is up.
Okay, so Kidrich would take the time where she was utilizing her beautiful fucking red whip at our good friend Franco to dart off to the side when no one possibly might have been looking. As he gets into the shadows, he'll grip and slowly undo the pouch, and right before the last glimmer of light leaves his body, as he creeps into the shadows, you'll see him remove the flask from his pouch. And with this chain and this weapon he took off of his sister's neck dangling from his only hand. And then he'll use hide into the shadows. Hopefully I can hide. And then I will come around and I will come behind this crazy vampiress, and I will just wait until my next turn to do anything, but I'm just positioning myself.
You're trying to get behind her, sorry?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to either get behind her or get to a position where I will have the advantage on her when I come out of the shadows to attack on my next turn.
How far can you move? Because she's actually, I guess she's only 30 feet away, but the room itself is pretty massive.
I can only move 30 feet, so.
Okay, so yeah, you won't be in range, but you can definitely, yeah, you can put yourself in range that like next turn you can move and get to her. How's that sound?
That's all I want. Yep.
All right, then with you next, Thulgarn, the blood priest stands before you, Sister Alkava. What do you do? 30 feet away, actually. You're in a pool of skeletal bones that seem to be animating to life. 4 of them now surround Franco. And then even worse is a blood zombie rupturing out from one of the cauldrons to the west.
Bugger me. So he's gonna just glance around the room, like assess the sort of biggest threat after Sister Alkava. It's probably this blood zombie thing.
Fair.
Facing his shield towards it, this great burst of rosy red sunlight shines towards this this zombie as I cast Guiding Bolt. And hopefully it will hit.
All right. Give it a
That's
try.
a 14.
That will hit.
That's going to hit. Okay, so that is going to be 14 radiant damage.
All right.
Roll that one.
That bloodies it.
Nice. I think that was just an action. I'm going to like step back as much as I can, like not out of the room, but just to get to the edge kind of thing.
Okay.
But put a wall behind me is basically what I want to do.
Okay, sounds good. The blood zombie, hearing that or being struck by you, basically you blow away its torso, and there's like a hole that's seeping in from it, and the blood just kind of pools down and blocks out the hole. It doesn't heal or anything, but then it will charge at you through the bone piles, and it's going to attack you, Thorgarn. You have the wall behind you, but it's not enough distance to put you out of its reach. This thing is going to start swinging its fist in a fury, trying to cut at you. As it does so, it misses the first strike and misses the second strike, unless for some reason you have a 12 AC.
Nope, it's 18. I popped in chat.
All right, perfect. Sister Alkava is up once more as you see another one of these blood vaults basically whirl up now, and there's just like tendril after tendril kind of coming up from these things, and it sweeps around her, and she holds up her hand and she says to, who's it going to be? I feel like it's unfortunately going to be Franco, just because you're the one that attacked. You are a blight to the red goddess. Wither away. And she crushes her hands and basically squishes a clog of blood. And as it does so, it ruptures out, and then the vaults of blood come rushing at you towards you and completely engulf you. Give me a. This isn't going to feel too great.
Is this a spell of some kind?
It is, yes.
So Franco's gonna try and counterspell that nonsense.
Interesting. Go ahead, and it's 2 or under, right? The auto count.
3rd level or lower, it automatically ends.
Well, it does not auto cancel it.
So
Okay.
then she has to make it just a roll. She's got to beat 10 plus spell level.
Okay. She does not.
Do I?
I don't remember. I can't look it up.
I mean,
I know it's 10 plus spell level.
If it's casting, oh no, I have to make an ability check using your spell casting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level.
All right, go ahead and roll it, and I'll tell you if you did or not.
10 plus the spells. Oh, I see. So spell casting ability. Ugh. All right.
So just your charisma, not your proficiency bonus.
Right. So that is a 15 plus 3, so a total of 18.
Well, she's definitely not casting a 8th level spell. So.
Yeah. So I imagine Franco just lets out this sound like the bark of a rabid dog, and somehow the blood just collapses apart in her hands, just melting through her fingers.
And then she, having her attack thwarted, smiles and says, "How they resist, Marina. How they try to resist." And Chad, you're up next.
Or are these skeletons like grouped together?
Yeah, they're about to attack Franco next.
All right, so all right, I can deal with these. And so he's gonna take his fists and kind of go into like the pose and put them together. He says, "Flame of the dragon and frost of the giant," as he's going to twin a 3rd level dragon's breath spell.
Nice.
So essentially, like, instead of having the familiar out, it's essentially like riding his arm. So that's how this works. But his right arm actually like morphs and turns into a dragon's head, like red scales and all. And then his left fist becomes covered in ice as he runs forward and then throws out the dragon's mouth for a dex save, DC 14.
All right.
It's a 15-foot cone, so I would try and hit them all if I can.
Yeah, you'll be able to hit them all. I'm going to say that Franco's probably in that, though, since he's in the middle of the skeletons.
He'll be all right.
What am I rolling?
A dex.
Dex save, DC 14.
Oh, Jesus.
The skeletons failed, though, luckily.
Oh, good. So they take
What was
15.
what was the DC again?
14.
I failed by
Okay,
one.
well, everyone takes 15 fire damage.
Hey, you feel a ripping hot flame engulf you as this swirling dragon's breath comes and just swallows you all whole. All the skeletons get burned away, but
There we go. That's good. Can I make it to within range of one of the blood vats?
Not with 30 feet of movement, but by next turn you definitely can. You're about 20 feet away from the first one.
All right. So then for my other action, I'm going to cast Blade Ward.
Okay. All right. With you done, Sister, let me just make sure I didn't mess something up here. Sister Alkava is the last one to go, as she is just going like crazy. 4 actions per round right now. You see that blood is just swirling around her, and she's just manipulating it, bending it to her will. With her spell negated, though, she will look at you again. Franco, and she will say, "Don't worry, my mother. I will make sure they do not speak again in our holy halls." And she casts a spell, and as she does so, the sound of combat around you, Franco, the sound of the bones burning away, the crunching beneath your feet, completely and utterly go silent. You hear nothing. And then as a bonus action, she will whip her arm out to the blood vault on her right-hand side, and another zombie will crawl out. That puts Franco up next. You go to yell out to your friends, like you yell back at Chad for burning you, but as you yell, no sound exits your mouth. Completely silent.
Yeah, so Franco looks absolutely horrified, since all of his spells in some capacity or another require at least a few mystical words in order to work in any capacity. So he is going to, first of all, as his bonus action, despite the silence, because I don't think it really specifies, he points the packed weapon Hunger Without End at Sister Alkava, and he's going to put his Hexblade's curse on her. It doesn't say anything about it needing a verbal component. So
okay, good with that.
Yeah, he just points it at, and I imagine almost this like halo of deep maroon fire sort of surrounds her body, and then he is going to. So the skeletons are gone. There's nothing within 5 feet of him. Is that correct?
Nope, just Sister Alkava 30 feet away, and then a blood zombie that is charging at Thogarn, and then another one to your west or your right-hand side, or east, sorry, that is going to looking at you, but still about 20 feet away.
All right. So, Franco is just going to book it his full. He's actually going to dash back towards the entrance of this room. Actually, no, he's going to just run 30 feet towards the entrance of this room, and then he's going to go ahead and chug his last healing potion.
Okay, sounds good.
That will be it.
All right, Sister Alkava, back-to-back turns. As a bonus action, she raises up her hand and says, "It's too late to run now, Mother. They cannot escape us." And as she raises up her hand, the door slams behind you shut. Blood kind of clots against the wall and completely creates this blood-like wall. As a regular action, I'm going to say that you're actually able to escape the silence if you back away against the door, because it's the 20-foot radius. She is going to look at you, though, and what does she want to do? She will make her whip attacks. This time, cutting across. I'm trying to think of the positioning here. Chad, who's heading towards one of the blood vaults, she looks at you and says, nothing to you, actually. She's talking to the priestess, and she rolls a 16 to hit. I'm rolling terribly now.
I cast shield.
Nice. You block it. At which point, she basically will hop onto a wave of blood and be swept across the room. This blood is moving like a serpent and moves her around, and she'll position herself not next to, but within range of you, Franco, and whip again. She wants to take you down, knowing that you have counter spell. Oh my god, I rolled terribly again. 16. Miss. All right. That being done, her first of her 4 turns, she is up again. And she will cast Hold Person on you, Chad. Wisdom save.
Fuck. Okay. 5. Wait, 3.
You are held personed. And then she will hold up her arm and, as a bonus action, summon a blood zombie out of the vat that you were heading towards. 3 blood zombies now. Kidrich, you're now up.
All right. Watching her move forward to snap at Franco, Kidrich realizes he has an opening. As he circles around and closes the distance between the two of them, you can see an empty flask or an empty vial drop at his feet. And as he races forward, he pulls out his rapier and he stabs at her from behind with his rapier with a hopefully huge attack roll. 22 to attack.
22 is, let me actually count this. This is going to be interesting. Does anyone know off the top of their head what Shield of Faith gives? I think it's +4, right?
No, it's just +2.
+2?
Yes, plus 2.
Okay, so that puts her up to... You just literally hit the mark at 22.
Wait a minute.
To
Does
hit
she
her.
drop? Does she have concentration rules like the rest of us, or does she have as much as she wants?
Definitely not the same concentration, but
Okay.
she kind of does. But there's things going on that you can check basically. But yeah, she can multi-concentration right now.
So-
Sorry, is the moral of the story, without trying to give away too much.
So what happens? He starts sneaking up, and then he increases his speed, pulls the rapier, and drives it straight through her body. I'm imagining since she is what she is, it's not going to kill her anyway. But for 22 damage she takes, and then he kind of leans in and smiles and whispers in her ear, "I've been waiting for you." And he holds the rapier there. He's not moving. Just whispers that, and that's the end of the turn. Actually,
And that's 22 damage. Sorry.
yeah.
All right. As you do that, go ahead.
No, that's it. Yeah. No, that's it.
As you do that, you basically would normally have sunk your blade completely into her, but as you do so, the blood just completely engulfs her and engulfs you. And as you swing, you hit her, you do damage, but you feel like the damage is being done elsewhere as the blood rips away, kind of splashing on the floor, covering her body is not cut, but you do see her gasp in exhaustion as that damage went somewhere, but it didn't go towards her. Thorgarn, you're up next.
All right. So where's my closest vat?
The vats from you, since you backed away against the wall, are both the closest one's 40 feet away.
Okie dokie. And I got a blood zombie right in my face.
Yes.
Okay. So kind of want to see what would happen if I've definitely got the range. So again, it's going to sort of just try and get his hammer over the top of the zombie and aim it towards this vat and fire off a fire off a guiding bolt of rosy
All right.
red light towards
The blood,
this vat.
The vaults do have an AC, so go ahead and roll.
Okay. Yep, it's an attack. So, oh, I pressed the wrong button. Sweet baby Jesus, that's a 23.
That definitely hits.
That is 19 radiant damage on this vat.
Beautiful. You crack it and almost break it. There's cracks all around this thing. Literally, you're so close. And blood is starting to like pour out of the cracks. It literally looks like if you were to blow on it, it would just completely rupture. And as you do so, one of these blood tendrils, these tentacles that are ripping out, it just literally starts to like undulate and vibrate and pulsate in pain almost. And as you do that, Sister Alkava just screams out in agony and then says, "Mother, I'll protect you." And then looks towards you, Thorgorn, and says, "I will smite that one for you, Marina. Fear not." Blood zombies are now up. They're going to come charging, one on you, Thorgrim. So slamming into you. It rolls a 22 to hit, and you take a total of, I rolled a 1 on the dice, so a total of 3 damage. As it slams into you, though, you realize that its body is like reinforced with spikes into it, and it literally just slams itself and spikes into you, and you feel your blood being sucked out into this creature, and it temporarily heals itself a bit by hitting you. The other zombie is going to attack you, Chad, and you're held. So I gotta look up hold person. What is your status effect technically?
I think it's stun, which I think would mean it's a crit.
Now paralyzed, I believe, is the crit, but let me just see. You're paralyzed. Oof. And I'll double check really quickly just because it's not that hard for me to do because I don't really want to rip you off and auto crit you. But conditions. Paralyzed is right here. Creatures automatically fail. Rolls are at advantage. An attack that hits any creature is considered a critical. Yeah, so swinging at advantage. 2 blood zombies are on you. Good luck, sir. These are not the worst things to attack you. 20 to hit, not natural.
Well, they both automatically crit. They don't even need to roll, right?
Well, they still need to swing at you. They just swing at advantage. That's what it said. I don't know how they would miss you, actually.
I don't know. I do have a 20 AC right now.
Do you? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So, yeah. Did I misread that? Because that is true. How would they miss you? I guess just not hit you hard enough to do damage. Paralyzed.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Yeah, it says I have to attack roll at advantage. So technically the second zombie just doesn't do enough damage to hit you, I guess. You somehow block it being paralyzed. Your muscles,
dragon scales.
Your muscles
the dragon scales and muscles.
Yeah. However, you do take 13 damage on the crit. All right. Sister Alkava is up once more. And having you paralyzed, that's going to be a pretty... oh, wait, no, that was Thilgrim that hit it. So, yeah, she's definitely going to go all out at you, Thilgrim. Give me a... This is... Again, she would look at you and say that you're a horrible blight upon this church, and give me a Constitution saving throw, Thilgrim.
Oh boy, that's only a 13.
Oh boy, that's definitely a fail. Blood completely engulfs you, and everyone sees... Actually, I'll give you a chance. Are you casting your last counter spell, Franco, or no?
Yeah, I think so. He's going to counterspell it.
All right.
All right.
Give you your action. Roll it. This is not a 3 or lower.
This is so bad. All right, let's see. Oh, nice. I'm rolling really well, though. So that's a modified 20.
All right. So her only 2 blight spells that would have dealt 8d8 damage are now gone due to the counter spells.
Oh, that's so big.
I might have to marry you after this.
As a bonus action, though, she will summon a skeleton in front of you, Thogren, and that ends her third turn. Chad, you're now up. You're held.
All right. Wisdom saving throw.
Come on,
-1
buddy.
gets me the 5.
You're still held. You're
But-
flexing as hard as you can.
The dragon seems to have a life of its own.
Oh, God.
So it's going to use its dragon breath
Gotcha.
on. I guess I just can hit these 2 flesh dudes next to me, right?
I think so. Paralyzed doesn't stop you from attacking, right?
No, it does, but technically the dragon arm is a familiar that's just on me.
Oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah. Then yeah, you're fine.
So 17 damage dex save.
Dex save on the zombie.
Yeah.
All right. Zombie is not necessarily the most dexterous. Not one.
Lit. So it takes 17 fire damage as what used to be his hand opens up its jaws and erupts this breath of fire.
All right.
And kills them?
Kills it. Yes, it drops to the ground, but let me just see something here. Unless, okay, let's try this. Drops to the ground, completely burned and sizzling, but as the burning and sizzling stops, it begins to pick itself up again. You definitely thought you killed it, but it's crawling back to existence. Is that it for your turn?
That's all we got.
Not 20 on the con save for the zombie.
Oh, that's right.
Sister Alkava, for her fourth turn, will go at. I'm trying to think. She has like so many spells. It's so hard to handle someone that is a massive spellcaster. She will cast. What would be the most effective? Give me a con save, Thilgrim.
A whopping total of 8.
Your vision goes completely dark as she has
boy.
casted blindness on you. I should be keeping track of the cons a little
I need
bit.
to write that down somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I haven't completely gypped you. How many cons do
I
I have
really
going
need
on
to
here?
see.
Shield the face up, which is concentration. Silence is up, which is concentration. And is blindness concentration? It is not. All right. She's still good. All right. Bonus action. She will summon another skeleton. 2 on you now. Sogren. I think I forgot the skeletons, actually. Where the fuck are they?
I had like a skeleton and a zombie on me, and you just summoned another one.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's why, because I kicked the skeletons out of initiative. So here's an attack from the skeletons. I'm just going to put them on initiative 1. That's a 15 to hit, which is going to be a miss. And over 20 to hit from the skeleton on you, Thilgrim.
Yeah, that'll hit me if it's over 18, yeah.
And 4 slashing damage from the skellies.
All right.
We're back to the top of the initiative, Franco.
All right. Does an 18 hit the blood vault that Thogarn already damaged?
Yes, definitely. 10's your AC on the blood vaults. Just so
Great. So 1 Eldritch Blast erupts from Hunger Without End and slams into that one, dealing an additional 7 points of force damage. I'm assuming that one's done?
It was literally at 1 HP. I felt bad.
Beautiful. So yeah, the blast hits it and it kind of ruptures and just shatters. I'm assuming spilling blood all over the place. And then Franco's going to aim a second one at whatever other blood vault is nearest to him within the 120 feet radius.
Yeah, they all are.
Okay, and that definitely hits, but he's only doing 8 points of force damage with the second Eldritch Blast.
All right, does not take it. But as you destroy one of the blood vaults, you notice that a lot of the blood that Sister Alkava is channeling kind of falls away and she loses control over it. You see that the blood armor that is around her that you've seen Kidrich experience that protected her also starts to melt away a bit. And is that it for your turn?
Actually, what's around me right now? I know I'm up against the door-ish, but is there anything? Are there any baddies around me apart from?
I believe there is a blood zombie heading your way.
I'm going to move 30 feet away from the blood zombie if I can.
Okay, that will just put Thilgrim in line for the beatdown. But yeah, I'm good with that. So Sister Alkava's initiative 20 is now gone. She's down to 3 actions. Only 3 actions. Let me pull her up now. I'm keeping track of her spells too, so she is hurting on those. Although I just deleted them. No, that's the worst. All right, 1 second here. Sorry. And that is at 3. I can't close that. I gotta remember that. All right, she will whip at you, Franco. You're getting it now. 22 and a natural 20. Oh boy. Here we go. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Let's get some damage out. So the crit, we'll do the crit first.
Go for it.
So for bludgeoning damage, you take 16 as the whip basically swirls around you and begins to tense. And then as you do so, you feel this like necrotic blood start to seep into the wounds that it dealt. And this is going to hurt.
Nope.
An additional 10 damage on top of that 16 in necrotic damage.
Franco is barely up, bleeding heavily and panting, drooling blood. He is not doing very well at all.
Kidrich, you're now up.
Kidrich, amazed at the fact that issue all these attacks with his sword in her back and not concentrate on him at all is happy, but still stunned that all of this has been able to take place. You realize is that it's not about these blood pools more. So he reaches to the one, yanks out the rapier from her back, runs to the one that's I think just right beside her that she's been calling all of these zombie walkers out
bonus
with.
action disengage, or do you take an opportunity attack?
Bonus action disengage.
Okay, you just
run
attack over. And Franco just hit this one, so 8 damage is already done on it.
Beautiful.
10
I
AC.
will strike out with my rapier with a 14 to hit.
Does so.
And a 7 damage.
7 damage. Oof, that one is also shattered and almost breaking, but just clinging on. Thogren, you're blinded. You have 2 skeletons and a blood zombie on you.
So we had a short rest like right before this, didn't we?
Yep.
Perfect. I don't need to see to do this either. So I'm just like fumbling around on my belt, like searching for this flask of holy water, which I eventually find, just pour it all over myself, screaming, "Goddess, forgive me. Send me your strength." And he starts like radiating this beautiful orange light, which you wish you could see, as he channels his divinity again to turn the undead once again.
All right, awesome. And
So,
they're all under the CR, so they still get to make
Wisdom
their
save. Yeah, wisdom save. DC 15.
All right, zombies first, since there's only one. Natural. Well, they rolled a 2, but has -2 on the wisdom, so they rolled a 0.
Nice.
Blood zombie, you don't see it, but is melted away. And now for the skellies, 2 of them on you. Wisdom saving throw. Fail, melted away, and fail, melted away.
Perfect.
See this burning, beautiful, bright light from behind you as Thilgrim's deity radiates around this room and burns away the sinister undead around him.
Hopefully she can send me just a little bit more strength so I can make this con save to try and unblind myself.
All right,
which I think I have to do, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Oh my god, I did even worse than before. A 5, yeah, that's a fail.
Still blinded.
Still blind.
All right. That puts up 2 zombies that are on our good buddy Chad.
Wait, didn't they just get melted away or something?
If you're within 30 feet, they may have done, but probably not.
Yeah, they were not in the 30 feet. Sorry, bud. All right, at advantage. Apparently, your AC's not 20 anymore, though. But
yeah, no, it's just 15 now. I'm about to get racked.
Ooh, I rolled a crit and a 15 plus 3 to hit. So first damage is only a 6, apparently. That's impressive. That's the crit. Or wait, no, that's not the crit. Yeah, it is. What the heck? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then I rolled another. So I rolled 3 1s on this freaking dice, all the dice that I just rolled. So you take 2 more damage. Man, that's terrible.
No, that's great. That's good.
Wait, that was just the first zombie, though. That's right.
Oh, they both have 2 attacks?
No, they don't. Yeah, sorry. I'm losing track of myself. My bad.
Okay.
I'm
Fuck
trying to rip you off. Sister
All
Alkava
right.
is now up, though. And
Wait, don't I wisdom save? Or wait,
Yeah.
no, she's up before me.
Yeah, she's up before you.
Gotcha.
And seeing that you, Kid Rich, are attacking her precious blood vaults, you're going to get a whipping, boy. And she goes to do so.
Got nothing, bitch.
She rolls a 20 to hit, not natural.
Yeah, that
And,
might hit me.
and you take a total of 6 bludgeoning, or not bludgeoning, slashing damage, and a total of, on top of that, 11 more necrotic damage, 17 damage in total.
All right, I'm going to can I half that with my uncanny dodge?
Yes, you can.
I'm
That
gonna do that.
ends her turn. Putting up Chad now.
9. I am still paralyzed.
Oh my god, man. That's
And-
the worst.
Fortunately, my familiar arm can still at least attack these 2 zombies again. Dex save.
Dex save zombies. All right.
And it's 12 damage, save for half.
Well, the one is evaporated away, and I don't play the zombies where they can continually save. That's just annoying. And the second one also goes down, but he hasn't been dropped yet. So let's see if he saves. He does not. Both blood zombies on you, dead. Sister Alkava is up for her 3rd turn now. She's going to start thinking about what spells she has left. Damn it, I keep closing the wrong one. She has that, and that, and that. So she will... Sickness. Actually, this is interesting. She will cast Chill Touch, but as she does so, normally a single target spell, with the power of the Blood Vault, she is able to twin her Chill Touch, and she's going to send one at Kidrich, which is definitely a hit, and you take a total of... Oh, that's not right. Take a total of 7 damage, Kidrich. And the second one is going to go for Thilgrim. I lost my D20. There it is. And that is a 17 to hit. I can't remember if
that is a miss.
Hey, back to the top of the initiative. Franco, you guys are clinging on to what you have, trying to take down these blood vaults. But Sister Alkava is powerful when infused with the blood magic of Marine.
Marine. All right. So a 16 to hit the already damaged blood vault, doing 4 points of force damage.
That definitely kills it. It was at 2 HP.
Okay.
That removes her initiative at 15.
Great. And then Franco is going to whip his packed weapon around to the 3rd, because there's 4 of them total, correct? Or 3 of them total?
4 of them in total. 2 are left now.
Okay, so he's going to point at the next one nearest to him with a 17 to hit. That's 11 points of force damage.
All right, does not take it down. Sister Alkava is down to 2 actions a round, though. And that puts up actually next Kidrich.
Okay, so how's Thorgrim? Like, is he surrounded by enemies, or is he basically cleared up now?
There is no zombies or skeletons currently on the battlefield.
All right, beautiful. I'll turn around. Kidrich will look at this demon woman circled with the blood still from the 2 leftover blood pools, and you fucking bitch. And he'll grab his rapier. Actually, he'll put his rapier away, and on his run towards the blood pool that Franco just hit, he'll pull out a short sword, which is a little bit more of a firmer weapon, and he'll take a hack at it as he's coming sliding into it.
All right, slide and hack away. 10 AC.
Bam! There is a 13 to hit
Does so.
with a 6 damage.
6 damage. All right. And what was the damage you did on it, Franco? Do you remember? I forgot to write it down.
11 points of force damage.
All right. So again, this one just clinging on to being shattered. You guys are coming so close every time, but it is just barely alive. Thulgrim, you're now up.
Well, still blind for a start. So I'm like just hearing this sound of battle and like moving liquid as the blood is just pouring everywhere. I'm gonna just try and sort of stagger my way towards it, maybe like moving a lot slower. I just want to kind of make, try and get somewhere closer.
Yep, you can definitely move your movement still. You're not reduced, so you can move your 25 feet.
I mean, I'm blind. I was just like, move a little, move slower so I can, not fall over.
Fair enough.
So I'll move like 15 feet or something closer.
Okay, I'm good with that. Taking your time.
And then I've got to do my save.
Okay, con save.
Where's the button here? Please. An 18. There we go.
18 does it.
Yes.
You're no longer blinded as the blood. You rip it away. There's like blood clots on your eyes. You just rip them off, and you see again. You see Sister Alkava was kind of like a beautiful woman, although obviously not looking too hot with blood just dripping off of her. You see as you destroy these blood vaults that she's seeming to age more and more as each one is hit.
So that's the end of my go. That's all I can do.
All right, she is now up, and she is pissed. Although you took away all of her super good spells, so that's really annoying for me. She will, with the whip, strike across you, Kidrich, since you're the one that last attacked it, missing and rolling an unnatural 20. So you take a total of 8 damage from the whip, and then the necrotic damage. You're not looking too happy. You're looking like you might be in trouble. Another 11 necrotic damage. You're muted. Still muted.
How are you allowed to use Uncanny Dodge before it becomes massively cheesy and everyone's like, well, fuck him?
You're allowed to use it every time, once around, I believe, as a reaction.
Once around, yeah.
And no one will call it cheesy.
I'll use it
rogue ability. She will, however.
All
right, so you're still hanging on?
Yeah.
Perfect. She will remember to use her bonus action to summon another blood zombie in front of you, though. So there's that. And now Chad's up. Sister Alkava has been reduced to 2 actions, 2 concentrations, and her AC, although you guys haven't really struck her yet, is plummeting also.
I got a 9. I don't think there's anything within 15 feet of me, so I do nothing.
I'm sorry, man. I feel bad. Never has hold person been so effective. Sister Alkava is up again, and seeing that the blood zombie has... I don't even know. She probably would not. I'm sorry, Dan, but it's going to be 1 attack to Franco and 1 attack to Dan or Kidrich. Kidrich, you got a 13 to get hit by. I'm assuming you dodge that. No, you take it. All right. 4 damage from the whip and another 9 damage of necrotic.
No, I don't take damage from that. Oh. It misses me.
All right, and I rolled a whopping 8 to hit on you, Franco. You dodge. She is going to summon another blood zombie as a bonus action, though. 2 blood zombies are now out, and they're both in front of you. Sorry, Kidrich. I'm blanking out here. Initiative is actually pretty interesting to track with these blood zombies popping out. 14 to hit and a 16 to hit on you, Kidrich.
The 16 gets through.
All right. 5 damage. As we're back to the top of the initiative, Franco.
Well, I rolled a natural 1 on my first Eldritch Blast, but the second one is exactly a 10, doing 7 points of force damage to the almost destroyed vault.
You shattered the third one. She now lost her blood armor due to Kidrich hitting her for a pretty impressive amount of damage and then 3 vaults being destroyed. So she no longer has any temporary HP. and she has lost her third action, only leaving her with one regular, normal NPC action.
Great. Franco is going to lean against a nearby wall and try not to die.
All right, Franco. Thorgrun, you can see, you can move. You see only one blood vote left, and also Sister Alkava. What do you do?
How close am I to each of my companions?
Pretty dang far away from Kidrich. Close enough to be like maybe 15 feet away from Chad, and around the same from Franco.
How far is Kidrich like?
Kidrich is from you roughly 50 feet.
Oh, okay. He's in range then. Perfect. I'm gonna just desperately pray to my goddess to just give my companion strength, and I'm gonna blow my last 3rd level spell on mass healing word.
Nice.
Try and give you guys just a little bit of HP. Please roll well for this though. Just come on. You can do it. You can do it, John Tier. Yes, I rolled a 4, so that everyone gets 8 HP. It's not much, but it's something.
Nice.
And that was a bonus action, so I'm gonna use. How close is that next vat?
The last vat from you is also 50 feet away.
I believe that's in range for me to cast my lovely little sacred flame.
Yeah,
as I can, because it's a cantrip.
Sure. I'm just gonna say that the vat fails because it's a vat.
Yeah, it's a dex save. I don't know. It's only 5 damage, unfortunately, but radiant damage.
That's definitely not going to do it, but it does shatter a bit. As Chad, for the love of God, break out of that whole person.
Uh, 14?
I
think that's still too low.
I think Blood Vats is rolling. I gotta check her DC because it actually every time you destroy a vat, it actually changes her DC. Let me pull her up. Where is it? No, sorry to get your house up. 15 is her DC.
As I stand still, looking hella muscly and dragon-like.
I feel so bad. All right. With one blood vat left, she is going to go into desperation mode. Can I make use of any of these spells that she has? I feel like her whip is just better to use, so I'm going to use her whip. And we're going to give 1 to Thorgrun. 18 to hit. You take a total of 4 slashing and 7 necrotic. And she will whip again at, we're going to say Franco this time. You've been sitting there getting out of it for a bit. And you take a total of 6 whipping and 6 necrotic, 12.
And Franco falls to the ground.
Nice.
I may be able to get him back up. Just hold on.
Zombies are up. And those 2 are the ones that were actually on you, Kidrich. So here comes 2 attacks real quick. Slamming into you with ferocity. 22 to hit and 14 to hit. The 22 definitely hits you for 7 damage.
Okay, I can take half of that, and I'm still standing.
Okay, good job. Back to the top. Franco, it's getting close now, I'm sure. Death save.
A failure.
Hey, we're taking you down. Kidrich, 2 blood zombies on you. What do? They're slamming into you both sides, flanking you, beating you back and forth, cutting you with the spikes infused in their bodies.
Are they cutting me with the spikes infused in their bodies?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
So help you in some way?
I'm going to disengage.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it might actually. It depends on how you react to this, but
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure if you remember what I told you was in the vial. How I said it was poison blood.
Okay.
And then how I was shrinking into the shadows and I pulled the potion or the vial out of my pouch. And then when I came out of the shadows, there was an empty bottle that fell beside me. Well, that kind of means I'm poisoned. So if they're taking my blood, they're you're poisoned, you do some form of poison damage. My final idea is to get her to bite me. That would be the coolest thing. But I'm gonna disengage, and I'm gonna go smash the blood pool.
I should let you know that Sister Alkava in no way seems like a vampire, for the record. There was a whole missed portion when you guys just straight up killed Marriott.
I have another plan. I got lots of plans. So
no worries.
How's that blood pool doing?
The blood pool is looking like it will be ready to be attacked by you. I'll give the zombies a con save. I'll let you, whatever. The zombies fail their con save. They swing at disadvantage next turn from drinking your poisonous blood.
Oh, sweet. I'll take anything I can
But since you just told me that you're infusing
18
yourself with poisonous blood, give me a con save.
All right. You're going to be that way? I was going to say it took a little bit longer to have effect.
Yeah. I'm sure it does. Right about now. What do you got for a con save? DC 14.
It was an 8.
8. So you're swinging at disadvantage until you save.
I understand. That
So go
makes
ahead
a
and
lot of sense.
swing at the blood vault. Disadvantage.
Yes, I got a 13 there for the low end on the disadvantage.
That hits. 6 damage has already been done on it.
And that's a 7 for damage there.
All right. Still holding on. Thulgrim, you're now up. The last blood vault is being beat on by the poisoned stumpy arm Kidrich, who is through all pain and suffering, determined to break this vault down and just completely abolish Sister Alkava's power source. What do you do? As it seems to be like almost broke, but you know you're gonna have to give it a attack.
First of all, he shouts, Chantia, do not let my companion die. Help him. And I'm going to cast Healing Word at 2nd level on Franco.
Hey.
Get him back up. So let me see what he gets here. You regain 11 HP, my friend.
Nice.
And then I shall just try and smite this cauldron down once again with Sacred Flame.
All right.
I don't know how you want to play that, other than just, hitting. But 12 radiant damage. Oh, pretty nice gun on.
That's enough to destroy the last cult or vault. She still stands, but she drops to the ground. And as she picks herself up, you see that this is an old-faced woman now. The blood is just dripping from her, but she no longer has any control over it. It's just you versus Sister Alkava now. Her blood magic no longer really working. Chad, for the love of God, man, do something.
Crit, we got there.
Hey.
So it's a 19. Is that high enough?
That is high enough. You see her whimpering on the ground, and she says, Mother Marina, I do not feel your presence anymore. Please, guide me.
Well, that was the end of my turn. There's no enemies around me, right?
No.
Yep, that's me.
She looks back, Thulgrim. You destroyed her last connection to Mother Marina, and you will pay for severing that connection. She cracks her whip in anger. This old lady still has a lot of fight left in her, and she will whip her mace, or her whip at you. 18 to hit on the first strike, Thulgrim.
Oh, it just gets me.
22 on the second strike, Thulgrim.
Oh my God. I might survive. We'll just believe.
All right. Total of 19 damage.
Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. That is the exact amount needed to get me down.
That was high rolls too. I almost rolled max damage on most of everything.
Oh.
The cleric goes down, ladies and gentlemen. And the blood zombies, now she has no source to summon magic. It's just her and her whip. She that's all she does now in her turn. The blood zombies, however, are going to charge at you, Kidrick. Swinging at disadvantage because of the poison blood. They miss. And they miss, you lucky son of a bitch. Franco, Thilgrim gave his last bit of energy to bring you back to life before being taken down. He destroyed the last blood vault. Sister Alkava is vulnerable now, but she is fierce and ready for vengeance for what you have done to her. What do you do?
So I think Franco, as he's laying on the ground, he just hears this low growling voice in his head urging him to get up and do what he is supposed to do. And he knows what the alternative is. So he stands up, the voice of Yonogu, his patron, ringing in his head as he stands up, points his blade, and with a 19 and a 17, do 2 Eldritch Blasts hit?
Well, she no longer has Shield of Faith, so it's just her straight up AC, and she no longer has Blood Vault AC. So what was it?
A 19 and a 17.
Definitely double hit.
For a total of 14 points of force damage.
Nice. You blast her in the back, and she gets sent flying across the room. She yells out in pain. It's the first time she's felt pain in a long time since coming here.
And that will... Actually, wait. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Oh, no. It probably went away when I went down. Never mind. You're good. I'm done.
Kid Rich. Sister Alkava picks herself up, and the once beautiful woman now looks absolutely haggard and just ferocious. She no longer is talking to Mother Marina. She says to all of you that you scum will pay. I'll rip the very flesh off all of you.
How bad is she looking?
Old lady's got some fight left in her.
Dude, how far away is she?
From you? You can make it in a movement.
That's sweet. All right. I think what I'm gonna do. Kid Rich, stands up after all this crap been going on, and with his only hand left, he reaches in as he's walking towards this bitch. I don't want to say the meaner words, but I really do. He pulls out the small brooch pendant that he took removed from his sister's neck, and he starts swinging the silver chain in his hand. As he gets closer, he's just scorned at this horrible woman, and he says to her, "So, you seem to be getting a little weaker here." And he'll get in really close, and he'll kind of do a little pull like a yo-yo with the chain, and he'll press the 2 sides, and the blades will come out, and he'll swing it and hopefully strike her in the face with it as he basically says, "Prepare to die, woman."
All right, go ahead.
I don't know what you want me to. I'm just gonna roll a d20.
Yep. Add your
with my finesse. Is a finesse one, but 15 to hit. How about that?
Yeah, finesse is definitely, it's a finesse weapon. Only 15?
Yeah.
Just kidding, it's still a hit.
Sweet. Okay. How much damage do you want this thing to do?
That's the +1 run, right? The magic weapon.
Yeah.
Let's say it does a D8 +1 plus your finesse.
All right, so that's 9 plus 12.
12. All right.
Did you mean finesse by like my dex mod, or like
your
what did you mean by
yeah,
finesse?
your dex, sorry. You cut across her and scrape her blood, and her own blood drips from her face as she's now bloodied. And she just feels at it and just looks confused, seeing her own blood for the first time. How can this be? Thilgrim, death save.
Come on, nat 20. It's one success with a 17.
Chad, you've been waiting for this moment. You're finally free from her grasp.
Or how far away is she from me?
From you, like less than a movement, 20 feet maybe.
Excellent. So I charge across the field and come up into her and just throw both of them at her point blank. So that's 2 dex saves, 1 versus fire, 1 versus ice.
Okay. Fail.
So that's let's see, 15 damage on the first one from the fire.
Oh god.
And then 13 damage on the second one from the ice.
Oh god. Tell me. Hold on. Oh my god. Did you math it? Holy fuck. All right. Describe what it looks like as after 4 rounds of being completely incapacitated, you charge up and just wreck her. Doing just exactly the amount that you needed to do.
So he runs over and just kind of like jumps through the air, and like a wing of fire like erupts out from him as he gains just a little bit of height, and then opens his hand as the mouth just like this dragon scream as he throws it forward and the flames erupt out, just burning over her body. And then he spins around and his fist of ice gives off this like shimmer in the air as the ice spreads through. And his fist, he sticks it straight out, and just this jet of ice cold air, like a blizzard of sorts, just off of the left side of his body as she's frozen solid. And then he takes the dragon's head and just right through her body, and just into pieces, ice cubes on the floor.
Beautiful. You do so. And you now look at this temple, which was once like pristinely clean and beautiful, and it's just soaked in the blood of your own blood, the enemy's blood, and just who the hell knows what else blood. It's just completely soaked and drenched. But Sister Alkava lays on the floor withered, or I guess she lays in 100 pieces of ice. She's completely destroyed. You head back to the city of Corvolia. You tell the city folk what you've seen. They rush forth and try to save who they can, dealing with the abomination that is the temple that she basically renovated to create a horrible, basically temple of punishment and suffering. You would learn that a couple of the bodies of the original sisterhood were found, and they were all vampire spawns, the original 5, but Sister Alkava was not. Of the survivors found, the path that you guys didn't go actually was the couple of donor pens, and you were able to save a total of 4 individuals, 2 females and 2 males. Many others did not make it though, Sarah being one of those, unfortunately. You'll never forget the scars that Sister Alkava left you, all of you. But nonetheless, she's been defeated, and her Temple of the Blood Vaults has been destroyed. That will be the end of the session. Does anyone want to do a quick, each character do a quick monologue of what they do afterwards? Or yeah, we'll do that really quickly. Do Franco first.
So question, is one of those shattered pieces of Sister Alkava her heart?
Sure.
Great. So Franco would probably go back with the group to, actually he'd probably follow the group out, but then instead of going all the way back to Carvolia, he would double back into the temple when they weren't paying attention. So he would go, and again, at the behest of his patron, the whole reason he was here in the first place was to consume Sister Alkava's heart as a sacrifice to Yunogu, which he does. And he regains a measure of the sanity he lost once he originally entered into that pact with this demon lord, and he just disappears, just like he did with the last party he was accompanying, wandering through the wilds, just as this poor man bound to this terrible beast of butchery, and that's it for him.
Thogren, you wake up in the infirmary, completely bandaged. What happens after the defeat of Sister Alkava? What does Thogren go on to do?
He would spend some time remaining in this little village, basically just making sure that they're like teaching the ways of Chontea and sort of blessing their harvests. There's a spell that he has, which is what's it called? Like plant growth, which like doubles like the harvest of this huge area. He's just going to spend his time just making sure that these people see the true way, the true goddess of the harvest.
Yes, and Chontea is definitely accepted and worshipped after you show them the proper way of not sketchy blood tributes. And Corvolia continues to flourish under the watchful eye of Chontea and Thorgren. What does Kidrich get up to?
After the death of Sister Alvarine, or whatever her name was, Kidrich basically stands over her dead body, still swinging the gold or the silver chain. Basically, at that point, looking to the rest of his group before they exit the temple, and basically takes the weapon and swings it close to his throat and slices his own throat, poisoning all of the blood on the floors with the tainted blood of the poison blood in his system, and he just falls down dead. Mission done. That the person who's killed his sister is taken care of.
Hardcore. Chad, you're now up.
On a more cheerful tone, Chad stays in the town for a little bit to kind of help set things right, and tells the story of how he saved the day and brought Sister Alkava to her end, and then goes on his tour, kind of seeking glory, sharing the tale with everyone with little minor allusions, showing how he was the super badass and came in at the end, and of course with all of his flexing and posing involved.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. The city of Corvolia rests peacefully again and flourishes. The four heroes have saved the day, and that is where this session ends. So thank you for watching, anyone. Thanks for playing, guys. It was a lot of fun. And until next time, see y'all later.